That's included in the domestic violence in the child group room. That's domestic violence in the child group room.
Good morning, my name is Parole Officer Martinez. Today is Wednesday, February 5th, 2025, and this is a hearing of the Connecticut Board of Pardons and Paroles. The following board members are present this morning, and by stating their names on the record, certified, they have reviewed all statutorily required documents and available for information and preparation of this hearing.
Good morning, sir. I'm Jennifer Zaccanini.
I'm Ellen Zappo-Sasso.
Good morning, Pam Rodriguez.
Can you hear us, sir? Oh, I guess
Doesn't
not.
look like it.
Mr. Lambert, can you hear us?
Yes, yes, I'm sorry, I can't hear you. I'm sorry, yes.
Oh, okay.
Lambert,
Yes.
I apologize.
Were you able to hear us?
Yes, I was. I'm sorry, I didn't know
Okay.
you were speaking with me. I apologize.
Please state your name and inmate number for the record.
Lambert, 443325.
This hearing is being conducted in consideration of the parole application for Rayquan Lambert, inmate number 443325. He is serving a sentence of 12 years, execution suspended up to 5 years with 5 years probation for evading responsibility and death and reckless driving. As of today, records reflect the parole eligibility date of June 13th, 2025. There is victim input in this case. There is an offender accountability plan for the offender. Mr. Lambert has completed CCAR, Smart Recovery, Good Intentions, Bad Choices, Relapse Prevention, Voices, Tier 2, Hospitality, Credit Awareness, Speechcraft, Knowing Your Triggers, Silent Sons, Rage Advance, Financial Literacy, Goals Group, Motivation for Life, Daily Dad, Fatherhood Program, Nest Building, Co-Parenting, Family Supporting Reentry, Art Therapy, and Forklift Certificate. Mr. Lambert has been outside of parents and has maintained the job with the Turkey Hill since May of 2024. Utilizing the statewide collaborative offender risk evaluation system, the offender's overall score on the SRT falls within the low range of risk for recidivism. This is your opportunity to express to the board why you believe you should be granted parole. You may begin, Mr. Lambert.
Morning, honorable members of the board. Understanding the severity of this situation, I would like to start by saying how deeply sorry I am to the Cologne family for all the pain and heartache I have caused. The overarching question surrounding these proceedings today is a question of why. Why should I be granted parole? And that question leads to another type of question, a question of what? What is different today? What has changed since I have committed this shameful act and was convicted? And the answer to that question is a simple one. I am different, fundamentally different than I was 4 years ago. I have changed profoundly and for the better. In the spring of 2021, I committed the single most regrettable act of my life, and that act deprived Mr. Cologne of his life. Not a day has gone by since that day that I have not felt the shame and regret of my decision to drive away. But I also know that my pain pales in comparison to the immeasurable pain that the Colognes must experience every day due to the hole I left in their lives. I wish that I could go back and change what happened that day, but I obviously cannot. So what do I do? What can I do? There is really only one answer to that question. I can work on myself each and every day so that I can go forward a better man. A man that lives my life in a way that honors Mr. Cologne's memory. A man that lives my life in a manner that ensures that nothing like this ever happens again. And members of the board, that is exactly what I've been doing these past 23 months behind prison walls. I have taken advantage of my time and the rehabilitation opportunities that the DOC has offered me to remake myself into a newer, better man. The person who fled that accident scene 4 years ago is not the man who sits before you today. That man was immature, scared, and irresponsible. This man is none of those things. I have grown, and quite frankly, I have grown up. I have accepted responsibility for my bad judgment and deplorable behavior. I have held myself accountable, and I have taken concrete steps to rebuild myself. I have learned through many programs that I have participated in and completed that there is a better way, an honorable way to go forward. Specifically, Voices taught me the valuable lesson that every action we take, every decision we make has incredibly far-reaching consequences on so many of the people we come in contact with. Those consequences can be negative or positive depending on how we choose to conduct ourselves as we navigate life's many paths. I have lived in the Second Chance program at Cybulski for approximately 15 months now, and being in this therapeutic community reserved for those inmates that the DOC administration and staff deem to be most serious about our rehabilitation has afforded me the opportunity to participate in a genuine community of like-minded individuals, where we work every day to lift one another up to a better way of life. We are constantly involved in countless inmate-led groups and programs that teach us improved communication skills, responsible decision-making, conflict resolution, problem solving, financial literacy, goal setting, dealing with obstacles, and an overall more mature approach to life. I have ascended to a position within a dorm where I now help to facilitate two such groups, financial literacy and rage. This is a vitally important step on my journey to redemption, as I can now help others to learn what I have been taught, paying it forward in the cycle of growth and personal development. I cannot apologize enough for the pain I have caused so unnecessarily, but I will certainly continue to do so for as long as I have a voice. But more importantly, I will use that remorse that I feel so profoundly to drive my actions and behavior as I go forward in life. I will never become complacent in my desire to be a better man, a better father, a better citizen, and a better human being. If there's anything that I can assure you of today, it is that. So we circle back to the original question, why should I be granted parole? The answer is that I have changed, improved, and grown. I have put in the work to ensure that nothing like this ever happens again, and I have taken necessary and concrete steps to put into place a plan for a successful and productive reentry into society. 4 years ago today, I was simply a member of the community. Today, I am fully prepared and qualified to be a leader of the community. And should you see fit to grant me parole today, I will continue this journey of self-development, of helping others, of honoring Mr. Cologne's memory as I embark on the rest of my life outside of these prison walls. But no matter what you decide today, I will not be deterred from my goal of being better, a more mature Rayquan Lambert. Thank you very much for your time and giving me this chance to speak today.
Okay, Mr. Lambert, thank you for your statement. We have some questions for you. And when we're done with our questions, we'll turn the hearing over to the Office of Victim Services for some input. Then we'll deliberate and give you our decision. Okay?
Okay. Yes.
We'll begin with my colleague, Ms. Zappo-Sassoon. Thank you.
Good morning, Mr. Lambert.
All right.
I appreciated your opening statement, and also I spent some time rereading your letter that you submitted to the board last night as well, which gave us a lot of information about your current mindset. I don't have a lot of questions based on what you've submitted, but I do have one that I was hoping you could talk about. Within the documents in your interviews, you had noted that you did not feel as if you had substance misuse issues, but yet you've taken TIER programs, you've taken DCAR, and you're in Smart Care. So I was hoping you could share with us some of your observations about how those programs specifically have shaped you.
In my family, I deal with a lot of addiction. And one of those things I wanted to just kind of get a cap and understanding of being in an environment like this around addiction every day. I kind of just wanted to make sure that I wouldn't veer off, being my first time ever being incarcerated, into a situation where it's something that I wouldn't be able to control outside of here. And also just trying to stay busy and productive with making sure I don't fall into any trouble behind these walls. I just wanted to make sure I took as many programs as possible. My mom actually goes to CCAR in the world, but for her own personal reasons. So it's something that kind of connected me more with my mother, with some of the stuff that she deals with in her life and things of that nature. So a lot of those programs were due to me staying busy, but also for me to be able to connect a little bit better with some of the people I may not have a connection with in my family that deal with addiction.
Thank you. You have taken a lot of programs within the 2 years that you've been in the facility. You've outlined a lot of them that made an impact on you. I was hoping that you could give us a little bit of personal insight in terms of voices. You did have a victim who lost their life, and it's a very serious issue. And I'm sure that, as you said, you think about it, and I'm sure you also realize that if you had stayed on scene, that night, your charges would have probably looked differently than the reckless and evading ones that you had. There would have still been charges, obviously, but they would have looked differently. So talk to me first about some of the victim impact that you've worked through since you've been incarcerated.
Just understanding that when a family loses someone, the grief never ends. And that is something that sits dear with me, just knowing that a father was taken away from his children. Me being a new father and really seeing the impact and the major vital role that a father plays in their children's life is something that it always reminds me of the situation. And just know, like you said, knowing that if I would have stayed on and didn't let the scare or panic get the best of my emotions and my decision making that night, this probably never even happens to me. And I maybe could have helped render aid to a person at a time of need when it was very much needed of me to do so. But I don't want to make an excuse for anything that I have done. And voices just kind of make me realize that my decision making didn't just impact me or my family, it impacted an entire other family that will forever have that burden on their shoulders of their loved one not being here with them anymore.
So as you noted, daughters lost their father, and now you are a father to a daughter. Have you thought about how you're going to talk about this situation and what you went through at this point in your life with your daughter when she is older as a life lesson?
It's definitely going to be a life lesson. I haven't kind of cultivated that conversation in my brain as of yet. She's 2.5 years old, but I definitely is something I think about every day, you know. And what really makes me think about it is all her life since she was about 9 months, I've been here. And every time she comes to visit me, it's like, oh, we're going to daddy's house. So it's like, for me, it kind of it's sad because I know I'm going to have to explain this to her in some form and fashion later on, especially when she sees later pictures and things of that nature in the future. So it's not something that I have cultivated a blueprint of how I will conduct that conversation, but it's definitely something that I think about every day.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Lambert, I'm happy to see that you're taking responsibility and expressing remorse to the victim's family. You talked a little bit about the evading responsibility conviction. Why were you convicted of reckless driving?
It was noted that the speed was that I was driving at a fast rate. I do not recall me driving at the rate that they say, especially considering that I was coming through stoplights and I didn't blow those stoplights at all. But it was noted that it was in, like, I believe the 70s that the speed was, and I just do not recall, to be totally honest and transparent, that speed.
Could it be they just weren't aware of how fast you were going? I know there are times that I have to look down and, step on the brake a little bit.
It could most definitely be that. And honestly, it's just something that at that point in time, it happened so fast that it was something that I wasn't able to look down and notice and be able to apply the brakes at that important time.
Did you lose your license as a result of these offenses?
Yes, they were suspended. I'm not 100% sure the status of that as of right now, but they did tell me that my license was suspended.
Okay, you're in the ENOUGH unit, is that right?
Yes.
What does ENOUGH stand for?
Embracing new opportunities, upholding good behaviors.
Nice. Okay, so tell us what a day in the life of the ENOUGH unit looks like.
Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, we wake up for morning meetings. Mondays, we just due to the setup how they had it before, we staff to be up by 8:30. And Tuesday's commissary comes in the morning, but a normal day would be programs start at 9 o'clock, and we have programs up until 6 p.m. Sometimes 7 is the latest program that we have. And as of the past 9 months, I've been going to work. So I wake up every morning and I get ready to go to Turkey Hill, where we do recycling and things of that nature for the DOC. But a normal day inside of Second Chance program would be waking up. You can't have your TV on until 2 p.m. from 8 in the morning to 2 p.m. And after 2 p.m., you can have it on until 11 o'clock. And we just program majority of our days inside the dorm and outside of the dorm.
Okay, nice. Okay, sounds like a very structured environment. You mentioned that you're a facilitator for RAGE and financial literacy.
Yes.
What does RAGE stand for?
RAGE stands for rethinking, aggressive, gaining, rethinking. I just started to facilitate that within the last couple of months. And I know it's rethinking, aggressive, gaining. I'm not 100% sure. I apologize for that.
Okay, that's all right. Okay, and what were you doing prior to coming into prison? What did your life look like?
I was working regular odd jobs and things of that nature at warehouses. I've worked in a group home before where I worked with DDS kids. Just regular warehouse. I did some delivery driving things, just trying to kind of figure it out. I went to school and stuff for sports management, but I was trying to kind of navigate my life and get myself in order with the best kind of blueprint that I had. I didn't really have a blueprint set up for me to do certain things other than go to school. And financial reasons is why I stopped going to Delaware State University in my senior year. And it's just been me trying to just figure out a way to work a legitimate job and kind of stay on the right track.
Okay. Do you think smoking marijuana every day was interfering with your progressions?
It definitely had a major impact on that. And I wouldn't say every day, but the amount of time that I did use to indulge in that, I can honestly say that it definitely hindered me. And me having this time here, not even indulging in any of that activity, has kind of definitely showed me that played a major role in me being so stagnant and not being able to progress through the steps that I were taking out there.
Yeah. So I'm sure you've played this in your head a million times since the night of your offense, but how would you handle that situation differently today?
I would definitely stay there. I would make sure that I got the medical attention that was maybe I needed for the person involved, and just go through and cooperate on scene rather than cooperating later on. Just cooperate right then and there, and never drive away or let my emotions get the best of me ever again like that. Just knowing now what I know now than what I knew before. It's just staying there.
Yeah. Okay. And were you drinking or smoking that day?
I was not.
No. Okay. And I didn't read that there was evidence of that. I was just a question I was asking. No criminal history prior to this. I think it's important to note you've had no disciplinary problems within the facility. And you certainly have engaged yourself in all types of education, programming, and work. Have you been able to save money?
No, I haven't. I was actually going to get a furlough opportunity, but I was not at my 40% mark at the time when they had me submit the application. And that was the only thing that stopped me was January 8th made my 40%. And they told me that because I have parole coming up, I have to see kind of what happens after this date to see if furlough will be something, because they're looking for people to have a little bit of time on the back end, about a year left. So that was something.
But you're getting paid to work at Turkey Hill, are you not?
No, we get paid $1.50 a day to work at Turkey Hill.
Okay. Wow.
So it's not like I can use it for my commissary to be able to eat and not bother my family for it, but it's not something that I'm able to like kind of save any money for.
Yeah. Speaking of family, who visits you at the facility?
The mother of my child and my mom come up and they bring the baby most of the time. Those are really only, my aunt is on my visit list as well, but she lives in Las Vegas. So we kind of have video visits. But other than that, I don't really have, my grandmother doesn't like coming up here. So she's the only like living grandparent I have left. And that would be the only other person that would really come visit me and things of that nature. But she doesn't like to see me in this circumstance.
Okay. You did receive excellent evaluations for the programs that you participated in. So the facilitators, the staff there had positive things to say. So it does appear that you've gained a lot of insight, and I certainly hope you'll continue to work on yourself and grow. And have you developed a whole new set of goals for yourself for when you're released?
As of right now, is really just trying to work on finding some type of job of that sort and just being the best dad, because I'm making up for a little bit of time that I had. But any new goals, I would just say just completing the short-term ones I have as of now, and then kind of reevaluating that later, just so it's not like I'm putting too much on my plate and feeling like I'm not accomplishing that things to be able to move forward later on. So it'll be like just the small-term goals as of right now. And
Well, what are your short-term goals?
my short-term goals are to definitely get reconnected with my family, my mother, get a job, preferably an apartment, if not like a condo or something of that nature within the next year to a year and a half, and just do everything that I can to make sure that I can probably help somebody else that's going through this to not make the same mistake that I made, or help somebody going through this whole system be able to better themselves. So I would say those are like some of the short-term goals that I have as of right now.
Okay.
So give it back, basically.
Yeah, it sounds like maybe some mentoring or something. Have you looked into ways that you could do that?
I really haven't looked into too many ways. I'm connected with like the Family Supportive Reentry, so Mr. Fred Hodges in Bridgeport, but I really haven't found anybody that does something of that nature in the area that I'm from. So maybe I can start to branch off and do something in that sort in Hartford. I'm probably sure there are people that do that, but I'm just not aware of them because they haven't really been into the facility to kind of give us any information on that. But it's just something that I would probably like to do with moving forward with anybody going through any type of incarceration, being a mentor of them, or just somebody that they need to talk to on days that they don't feel is up, and people that like some of my family doesn't understand because they've never been in a situation like how things are in here, and just the things you have to endure every day. So I would want to be a person that somebody can maybe text on the text app and say, listen, I'm going through this today, and kind of just give them good feedback and good advice as to how to stay out of trouble and be ticket free.
Have you thought about pursuing CCAR as a career?
I definitely did. Before I got the job at Turkey Hill, they were bringing the professional portion to Cybulski, but because I was working every day and I didn't really want to miss days when I first started working, I wasn't able to join that professional group the first time. So I'm looking to get into it when I either get released or if they open it back up to us right now, because I have kind of a little bit of, I'm vetted into the job as of right now. So my boss is basically letting me know that you're a good worker, and if you need to miss a day or two to do something that's going to help you, you can go right ahead and do that. So if they bring it back for me and I'm able to do it in here, I'll do it in here. But if not, I would like to pursue it later on, because I feel like it is a good job and it's a needed job to kind of be a recovery coach out there.
8 hours is a professional portion.
8 hours, yes. I believe they said that it's 8 sessions here, an hour each session, but after 8 weeks, you would have inside this facility. I know out there it will be faster for me, but they only allow us an hour a week for 8 weeks. Okay.
Thank you for speaking with me. I'm going to turn it over to my colleague, Mr. Rodriguez.
Thank you, Madam Chair. My colleagues have asked you quite a few questions already, Mr. Lambert. Just a couple of things. Your opening statement was very well done, provided a lot of information for me as well as what my colleagues have already asked. The fact that you remain ticket-free is really amazing. A very challenging thing to do in your particular setting. And it sounds like, you're, coming a long way and really thinking about your life and about your future and about what you want to be able to accomplish when you're on the outside. I don't really have a lot of questions for you. I wish you a lot of luck and good luck.
Thank you. Okay, so at this point, we'll turn the hearing over to the Office of Victim Services for input. Ms. Hamlet-Williams, thank you for joining us.
Thank you, Madam Chair, for having me. Good morning, panel. I do have statements from the family of the victim. The first one is from his daughter, and it reads, I'm writing this letter for my father and his justice. I'm his firstborn daughter. I'm aware that his killer has only served 2 years, and I find it incredibly disheartening that after his fake cry of remorse in front of the court and my family, that he would like to be free in this world. After his irresponsible actions have made it impossible for my father to tell me he's proud of me ever again, I can't hug my father ever again. The cruel truth, but that man wants to get out of jail to see his own child. That's not only unfair, but that is a slap on the wrist. He has sympathy for his child, but not me. Where's my father? This is a murderer who doesn't even show remorse. Clearly, he hasn't cared of the impact of what he's done. He does not care about our family's pain. This is why it's unjust for him to be let out of jail in just such a short amount of time. This shouldn't even be an option. He shouldn't have been driving so fast. He shouldn't have been driving under the influence at all. He put himself in prison, but more importantly, he killed a father, a son, a brother, a cousin. We pray for my father every day, and I talk to the sky every day, hoping he is proud of me, because I'll never hear that again. That man killed him, then left the scene immediately. I'd probably break down into tears if I hit someone with my car. What kind of a person leaves the body without even calling the police or ambulance? If I hit somebody with my car, I would serve my time and hurt knowing I killed someone. This proves to me that this man has no remorse for what he's done to another human being. Someone evil, how a human can do this to another son, brother, father. His actions show he is a cold soul, and this is not a lesson to him at all. He is not serving the time he deserves if he is released. Please consider my words. Thank you for hearing me out. The next statement is from the sister of the victim.
Ms. Hannah, I'm sorry, I'm going to interrupt you for a second, Ms. Hannah. You're a little muffled.
Am I? Okay.
Yeah.
I'm not sure why. I can come over. That's
Okay.
because
Thank you.
yeah, okay.
Thank you.
Second statement reads, I am writing to express my grave concern and disappointment regarding the potential release of inmate Rayquan Lambert from the Department of Corrections. Now, Lambert was convicted of the heinous crime of killing my brother from Cologne with his vehicle, a senseless act that cut short a young life and shattered a family. It is unfathomable to me that a person capable of committing such a horrific act should be considered for early release. The law and justice system should serve to protect society from dangerous individuals, and in this case, Lambert was just that at the time of the crime. The notion that Lambert has served his time and deserves a second chance is deeply misguided. Don't get me wrong, people do deserve second chances, and he will get that after serving the small amount of 5 years he was sentenced for taking a life. The gravity of his crime and his sentence, we feel, was not fair as it is. He has shown no remorse for his actions and has not taken responsibility for the pain and suffering he has caused my family. I understand that rehabilitation is a goal of the criminal justice system. However, in this instance, I believe that 2 years served is not rehabilitation enough. I understand that he is getting this chance for good behavior, but I would hope he is on his best behavior while in jail. That is what is expected of him, nothing more and nothing less. Lambert is a remorseless person who would laugh at the justice system if released for doing only 2 years after taking a life. To release him back into society before his 5-year sentence would be a reckless and irresponsible act. I say that with no disrespect intended to the members who have to make this decision. I urge you to reconsider the decision to release Lambert
before his 5-year sentence. His crime was heinous, and he deserves to spend the remaining 3 years behind bars. Anything less would be a travesty of justice and a betrayal to our family that is still grieving his loss. Thank you for your time and consideration. Sister of the victim. The next statement is from the victim's mother. To whom it may concern, how do I begin to express how I feel? 2024 wasn't a good year for anyone in my family. My mother passed away 9/24/24 of kidney failure and other health issues. My children's father passed away 10/6/24 due to a severe heart attack. My son, Josue Falon, aka Flesh, passed away 9/5/21. And since then, nothing has been the same for none of us, especially me, his mother. I can still remember going to court and my heart in pieces. All I could do was cry. Every year seems like yesterday when I got the news with the phone call from the detective stating my son Josue had passed away from a hit and run. My world was shattered. I couldn't think or feel. The saddest part of it all is Rayquan Lambert didn't show any remorse, no sympathy at all. If it wasn't because there were cameras in the area, he would have gotten away with it. It's been heartbreaking because of my granddaughters, Josue's daughters, him not being at graduations or school events, and for the younger one entering high school. I'm not only sad, I'm always lost in thought, thinking of my son, wondering how would it be if he was still here. He was hardworking and always concerned as to how he can help with any family issues. I cried just looking at pictures and family activities with the family, and now we just go through the motions. I know he'll never come back, but in my heart, it would be of justice to know if justice is served and Rayquan Lambert completes his sentence as it was given from the state, as it was given from the start of 5 years. Thank you. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. Okay, at this time, Mr. Lambert, the panel will enter into deliberation and we'll come back to you with our decision.
Okay.
Okay, is that precise? Thank you. So as evidenced by the victim testimony, this is a very difficult case in terms of the loss of life. And I think oftentimes when it is a hit and run or an evasion, that it appears to be somewhat dehumanizing, that the value of the human life is just kind of set aside in the interest of, you know, evading or leaving the scene or that type of thing. And I did find that empathy in reading some of the police reports. However, I think in terms of the goals of rehabilitation, acknowledgement, remorse, and apology, today, Mr. Lambert, through his actions within his incarceration, his words today, and what he submitted to us, as well as his program participation, have shown us that he has taken seriously the very serious acts that he committed. The act that he committed actually by not doing what he should have done that night. He is a low risk to recidivate. He has no previous criminal history. He has not incurred any disciplinary reports during his period of incarceration and has actively and assertively participated in multiple programs beyond what is required on his offender accountability plan. He has spent a lot of time expressing regret and remorse that I have seen through his actions as well as his written documents. And he has shown through his incarceration and his participation in the Second Chance Unit, as well as his outside clearance, that he is well regarded within the prison walls as well. Within the letter that he submitted to the board in advance of today's hearing, he has a realistic release plan in terms of reentry to set up coming back into the community. He's mentioning his OSHA certifications, warehouse work, as well as, you know, the logistical pieces of
financial literacy and reestablishing credit, et cetera. I would encourage them though, since you're so close to your college degree, to really put that in your long-term plans as well. But I think in terms of everything that I've seen today, I would be willing to grant him discretionary parole. And in terms of, in addition to the standard parole conditions, I believe that we should probably do halfway house placement in case it's needed. And then I would suggest no driving without parole officer permission due to the status of his license.
Officer Martinez, you spoke to his mother, right?
Yes.
We have confirmed sponsor in this case. This is a very difficult case. Mr. Lambert has certainly put the work in, and I can see that he's very serious about his rehabilitation and turning his life around. And he's attempting to give back by facilitating groups and really being a leader, not getting into any trouble while he's incarcerated, working, educating himself. It's very clear that he's making the effort, and maybe he doesn't express himself well, but I do see acceptance of responsibility and remorse. However, given the very serious nature of this offense that resulted in the loss of life and the injury and impact to the victim and the victim's family, my vote will be to deny parole today. Mr. Rodriguez.
Oh, this case is very, very difficult. You know, and I really feel for the family, and I have a very good understanding of what the family is going through. Yeah, I really do understand the loss that they have of a son and of a father, of a close family member to them. I feel that, and they were very passionate about their description of that. But I also hear Mr. Lambert's insights and see his successes and the fact that he's been able to be there without a disciplinary report. He's really seemed to have focused in on trying to put his life together. And I did hear his remorse today. And I understand the family doesn't feel that right now. I can understand that, but I hear his remorse today. And he doesn't, his parole date isn't until June anyway, so he still has several months that he has to stay there anyway. And that would then give him at least another year out before his EOS, which I think is in 27.
Yes.
In 27. So it would give him a year out on supervision. And should he falter at that point, we know that he would be coming back into prison and leading his time. I will also be supportive of his discretionary parole today. But I agree with you, Madam Chair. This is a very difficult case. Whenever there's a loss of life, we kind of have to hear the family struggle with this, and believe me, I do understand their struggle with this. I don't want to minimize their loss at all. But I do believe, having heard Mr. Lambert today, that he's on a path to try to put his life together in this. And I will be supporting.
Thank you. Okay, in the matter of Rayquan Lambert, inmate number 443325, there's a motion to grant parole effective June 13th, 2025, with the following additional conditions. No driving without your parole officer's permission. No contact with family of the victim. Specifically, we have a registered victim, initials TD. Do we want to add anybody else?
Good.
Okay.
I see. Yeah. Okay.
NC.
TDICNC. Okay, anything further? Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
And opposed? Aye. So this is a majority decision, sir. You've been granted parole on or after June 13th, 25. Keep doing what you're doing, okay? Keep working on yourself and giving back. We certainly wish you the best. And use your parole officer and then your probation officer after that as a resource and support, okay?
Okay,
Thank you.
thank you.
Thank you to the Office of Victim Services for your appearance too. Lisa, do we have those? Do you have?
Morning.
Good morning, my name is Paroles Martinez. Today is Wednesday, February 5th, 2025, and this is a hearing of the Connecticut Board of Pardons and Paroles. The following board members are present this morning, and by stating their names on the record, certified they have reviewed all statutorily required documents and available for information and preparation of this hearing.
Good morning, sir. I'm Jennifer Zaccanini.
I'm Ellen Zappo Sasu.
Morning, panel member Rodriguez.
Good morning. I'm David Williams.
Please state your name and inmate number for the record.
David Williams, 252-464.
This hearing is being conducted in consideration of the parole application for David Williams, inmate number 252-464. He's serving a sentence of 12 years, execution suspended after 6 years with 5 years probation for burglary first, carrying a pistol without a permit, and unlawful restraint. As of today, records reflect the parole eligibility date of July 10th, 2025. There is no victim input in this case. There is an offender accountability plan for the offender. It has been reviewed and showed the offender has completed the following programs. Mr. Williams has completed domestic violence, Tier 4, financial literacy 1 and 2, Microsoft module, C-card, gardening, veteran unit programs, including push-up acknowledgement, New Unitarian Universalist, and the fatherhood program. Mr. Williams has maintained employment as a tierman, utilizing the statewide collaborative offender risk evaluation based on the offender's overall score on the RT falls within the moderate range of risk for recidivism. Utilizing the static 99R, the offender's overall score for sexual offense recidivism falls within the moderate range. This is your opportunity to express to the board why you believe you should be granted parole. You may begin, Mr. Williams.
Okay, good morning. I take full responsibility for everything I've done, and I made a terrible mistake. I regret it every day I'm in here. The day I got sentenced, I made a decision with the judge that today I make a change. I refuse to let anything come forth, and I don't ask for help. I've been asking for help, and I've been seeking help. I currently work for the warden as the only worker for the warden for a year now. I went through 3 interviews, and I successfully got that job, and I'm a worker with the warden. I put myself around people where I know I could evaluate more of my lifestyle, where I want to get better things done and productive things done in my life. Me having 15 kids, I have to set a big example. One of the examples that I have to set is start owning up to everything. And from the day I got sentenced, I took responsibility that never again will I cause any problems in my community, in my family, or any situation I am, or any place that I am, even incarcerated. So I've been working hard on that, and to make the promise stick with my kids. The day my son asked me, Daddy, my teacher lets me come home from school, how come your teacher doesn't? And that day right there changed my life completely, where every time I think about anything, I choose right. I choose right from the day I got sentenced to the day today. That's the only way I'm living my life, is choosing right and making sure if mistakes don't come in my era. I understand that I cause a problem in my community and towards a shame towards my family members. And for me to fix it to this day, I have to and will continue doing right. And I keep choosing right. And I'm sorry for everything I've done. The only way I can fix it is by doing right. The only way I can say I'm sorry is by doing right. But I 100% regret everything that occurred. I regret it badly. And I hope the board would consider me and granting me parole. And you won't regret it, because I keep choosing right and I keep doing right. I've been in here studying for my CDL. I took the test twice, passed the first time, but I took it again because I want to make sure it's embedded in me. I've been working with C-card for 3 years, and on my release, I'm going to go work for C-card. I've been asked to come to their main office to meet with Melissa and start working with C-card. That's another thing I want to give back. because I'm 50 years old now, and I lost so much. My mother passed away in front of me in the visiting room, and that deterred me from making sure that I'm going to honor her, and I'm going to honor my kids, and I'm going to honor my community. I made a bad mistake, and I regret it. And I hope the board could see and consider granting me parole. Thank you.
Okay, thank you for your statement, Mr. Williams. We do have questions for you. When we're
Yes,
done with our
ma'am.
when we're done with our questions, we'll deliberate and give you our decision.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, all right.
Yes, ma'am.
So, Mr. Williams, I'm happy to see that you've stayed out of trouble. You have no disciplinary reports. You've been working in the facility. You've participated in programming. It really does appear that you're doing very well.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. But the big hurdle, you understand, is not only the disturbing nature of your instant offenses, but your criminal history.
Yes, ma'am.
You've been a violent guy for quite some time now.
Yes, ma'am.
And you've taken programs before during previous incarcerations and gone out to repeat the same behaviors.
Yes, ma'am.
So it's a major dilemma for us. In fact, you've had 8 opportunities at community release and you failed all of them. You were on probation for violation of a protective order when you committed this offense. So I guess help us understand why this time would be different than the other times.
May I answer, Miss?
Please.
One factor, Miss, I'm older. 2, I have so much to lose with my kids and my family. Miss, I all I could do is give you my word that I've learned me. I've learned myself. I never understood myself. And I never, excuse me, I never reached out to nobody before, peers or non-peers, and said, I need to just talk. I'm going through something. When I have a job too and reach out and I work hard, I've never been fired from no job. I do excellent. So since I've been in here, I've been reaching out for jobs and places to go to get jobs, even within and out. My past, I made my mistakes, but I can only change my future and I can make my future better. And I'm working on making my future better. When I caught this, I made a promise and I took full responsibility with the judge. And he said he would consider at a later time, after I've done some program and time, he would consider taking some time off. I've taken responsibility to continue to choose right because I'm older now. I've made my mistakes. I won't make no more mistakes in the future.
Mm-hmm. Okay. And all the things you say are true. The work, your work history, your relationship with your children, although, I'm sure in the past, if you have 15 kids, you've told people I can't do this anymore. I need to be with my kids. Can't imagine this first time that it's affecting any of your children. But all of that is true. The issue you have is your relationships with women. Intimate relationships is a real problem for you. You mentioned that the judge said he would consider taking some time off. Did you file for a sentence modification?
Yes, ma'am.
And what happened?
And I went to see him, but I didn't get my hearing. I got to file another hearing, so I'm waiting on that with the lawyer I have.
So you have a pending sentence modification?
No, it was denied, but I have to redo it.
Okay. All right. It was also concerning in your parole interview when asked what a high-risk situation in the community would be for you. You couldn't identify any high-risk situations. Certainly, there has to be situations that would be risky for you given your violent criminal history.
Oh, the reason why I said it won't be because, Miss, I studied for my CDL and I refuse to go back to the places where I'm from. And I'm recently got engaged, so I've moved on and left where I were in my past into a new environment. I'm not going back to where I was before. So on the up note, when I do get my CDL, my plan is to go to Florida and finish probation, and go to Florida with my family who has business out there, truck driving business.
Okay, but let me ask you a question. In your past incarcerations, while you were incarcerated, in your head, did you say, well, when I get out, I'm going to go back to do the same thing. I have a couple more bids in me.
No.
Right.
Yes, you're right. You're right.
So what went wrong this time then?
This time, I guess it was depression. I guess I was in shock at what I saw. And I guess I didn't understand. Just because you love somebody doesn't mean they love you back. And I've learned that in my incarceration, and that put me in a better place.
Yeah. And you understand, sir, because you say you take full responsibility for your actions. But
yes, ma'am.
According to your explanation, your explanation of the offense is very different than the official version and your victim's explanation. You understand that?
Yes, ma'am.
So why are you incarcerated?
Because I went home, and when I went home, my baby mother at the time was having a threesome. 4 o'clock in the morning.
How do you get convicted of burglary first for going into your own home?
They convicted me. They charged me with home invasion. I lived there, and they dropped it to burglary. So I don't understand why. But I guess. But just because
you don't get convicted of burglary first for entering your own home, sir.
They started with home invasion and then dropped it to burglary because I entered the home with a firearm.
And why did you have a gun?
But it was I don't know why I was being threatened on the streets, and I thought in my mind that was the right thing to do, but that's not the right thing to do. I've learned that's the wrong thing to do, and I've seek help for that. And I know I could call the police. I know I could call a mental health person. I know I could call my family on that situation now.
Sir, why did it take a hostage negotiation team to get you out of that house?
I was having a mental breakdown, nervous breakdown. Nothing more than that. I was just having a mental nervous breakdown, and I was just like, I just threw my life away.
Right, but except that you had a hostage in there with you.
Why
not let her go?
I did let her go. She didn't want to leave with me, but when she stayed with me, then she took the gun and said, "I'm going to bring it out." And she brought the gun out. I didn't held her from not bringing the gun out. I gave her the gun, and she walked completely out. And then I came up.
So you deny the official version of this? You still deny the official version of this?
No, I'm not. I'm not denying it. No, I'm not denying. That's what happened. The thing is,
no. The official version, and I can tell you what the official version is if you'd like to hear it again. But it sounds like you're denying the official version. What's on the record in the police reports and in the courts?
No, I'm not denying the official version at all. I'm taking full responsibility for the official version. In my mind, I thought that's what I was doing the right thing, but I was doing the wrong thing, and I didn't know you could verbally, mentally, and physically hold somebody hostage. I didn't understand that at the time when I was committing offense.
Well, I mean, you had a gun. Of course, people are going to be afraid.
That's right. 100%, miss.
Oof. So why do you think you've failed at every community release opportunity you've had to this point?
The reason I failed because David at the time wouldn't open up to my peers, my family. I wouldn't open up to my probation officer, my parole officer, my probation officer. Now, that's not me. That's in my past. I open up to everyone. I speak. I have no excuse for what's going on in my life. And if I do need help, I would ask anybody for help, anybody, because I know at the end of the day, if I ask you for help, I could walk with my head up. If I ask for help and choose right, I can continue walking with my head up, and there won't be a repercussion behind it.
Okay.
Before I didn't do that. I wasn't raised to show emotion. I show emotion now, and it's so much easier and 100% less stress when you show emotion and give back.
So how did you learn to do that?
Being here incarcerated, I talk to mental health. I've talked to a lot of COs in here, and I've worked hard to change. I took full advantage of the programs and listened. And I said, you know, half of the things that these people are saying to me, I've never heard it. Even if it was said to me before, I've never heard it. Now I'm hearing it and I'm listening. I'm listening and understanding. And even as you speak, I'm listening and understanding. And I'm understanding that, listen, if you got fault, it's okay. Just ask for help. Just ask for help when you need to know you find out you have fault.
Okay. How long were you with your victim before this offense?
We got 2 kids together.
How long?
So probably
How old are those kids?
they going on 10 and 7.
Okay, but you've been incarcerated for what, 4.5 years now?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So do you remember what year you were with her?
I don't remember exactly what year.
Okay. But what that tells me, sir, is that you have multiple victims, because I'm looking at your criminal history and it includes a lot of assaults before her. Do you know how many victims you've had?
Like 4, 3, well, baby mothers.
Yeah. And now these other 2 people. I certainly hope that your words are sincere, sir, because our community cannot handle any more of your criminal behaviors.
Yes,
right?
ma'am. Yes, ma'am. And that's thing too, miss. I gotta change me, and I have to show. The only way I can show is by doing right, and I choose right. And second, my community and my family are still going to be looking. I can't go away from that, but I can do right because I can smile, I can hold my head up, and I can show that, listen, if you come from my past and choose right, you can do it. And I've showed myself that I can do it.
Yeah.
Even when obstacles still occur now with me, I still choose right. Just because the door doesn't open for me, I still keep choosing right because I feel much better and I don't have no repercussion coming behind it.
Okay. All right. Thank you for speaking with me. I do want to point out that your sentence is done in less than a year. You know that, right? And you do have 5 years of probation to follow your sentence, and you also have a lifetime registry.
Yes,
you understand that? And,
yes,
and you've reported in the past, you understand the requirements.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. All right. Thank you. Mr. Rodriguez.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Mr. Williams, I share the very same concerns. I mean, your prior history is really outrageous.
Yes, sir.
How many of those victims are mothers of your children?
3.
I mean, do you understand the difficult spot that we're in?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. 100%.
With the history that you have?
Yes, sir.
How difficult it is to make a decision on you, and the fact that you've had those 8 unsuccessful discharges into the community impact, our ability to make that decision. It's our responsibility to figure out whether it makes sense to let you back out in the community.
Yes, sir.
Is the public going to be safe?
Oh, 100%. This public will be safe because.
Well, I know I hear that you're saying 100%, but I'm sure that at some point in those 8 releases and in the time that those other charges that you have probably said, this is the last time. This is the last time. I'm not doing this again. I'm not doing this again. And here we are again with you. I will agree that you've made some commitment to taking programming. Have you taken domestic violence before?
No.
in the former charges that you've had?
Yes, he did.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah.
yes. Oh, yes.
Well, typically, when you take those, what we want you to do is to learn from the first time you take it, not from the third or fourth or fifth time you take it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You've been
Yes.
incarcerated 5 times. I'm sure you've taken other programming in those 5 times. Have you taken tier programs
Yes, sir.
before? Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm having a hard time figuring out what's going to be the difference this particular time, because none of that has really, and it wasn't as if you were young when this last offense was occurred. This was in 2020.
Yes.
You're 50.
Yes, sir.
That was
I-
5 years ago. That makes you 45. You weren't a young teenager or somebody in their 20s doing this. Not that you didn't do it in your 20s, because if we go back in your record, you even did it when you were younger as well. So I'm challenged by that, and I'm concerned.
Okay.
Because the public has to be able to be safe
And
in this situation.
And the public will.
And it's a big decision that we have to make to figure out whether it makes sense to let you out again. So I'm really very challenged by that. I mean, in this particular offense, when you went and you said that you walked in on a threesome, right? Why did you then throw out the 2 other guys and have sex with the young lady when they left? What was that about?
Well, we was in there together and talking, and I was telling her how much I was sorry, and it just led to that.
You just got offended by there was a threesome going on, and then your decision is to turn around and have sex after that?
It
Well,
led to.
And that's very different from the official version anyway. There's
I know
no
that.
official record of this happening.
The thing is that what's different is that I know myself, and I know how much I've made a mistake in life. I never got a chance to say, David, to myself, you need to prove to society once and for all that you're not going to keep doing these stuff. You're not going to keep messing up. You're not going to cause harm to nobody. You're going to move on from your environment. I'm going to move from my environment, and I'm going to change my life. I have changed my life. I have good relationships with all my baby mothers, all of them. I'm still in contact with them except for that one, because I'm not allowed to. But I've apologized. I've worked hard. They've asked me while I'm incarcerated, show me that you're changing, you're not going to change, and don't delay any more time. Don't delay any more time. And that's what I've been working hard to. Sir, I'm so sorry for being here. I'm so sorry for what I've done. I'm so sorry for what I've committed. But I want to show that I am a better person, and I want to be an example of being a better person. I've made a mistake in the past, but my future is the only thing I could change. The only thing I could change.
Yep.
Okay. All right, Mr. Williams. Well, you understand my challenges, right?
Yes, sir. And I want you to understand that you're not going to regret this. The board is not going to regret this. But I do know why I'm here, and I want my community to forgive me, and I want my family to forgive me, and I want the victims to forgive me. But I only could do one thing: is do and choose right to show them.
Thank you for answering my questions, Mr.
Thank
Williams.
you.
Listen, the best of luck to you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Ms. Applesessen?
Good morning, Mr. Williams.
Good morning, miss.
My question is about some of the programming that you took, specifically within your domestic violence programming. I believe they also concentrated on anger management.
Yes, ma'am.
Can you talk to me about how that affected you and your way of thinking? Because it seems to me in some of these previous incidents, there was a healthy degree of anger involved.
Yes, ma'am. Now, anger. It taught me anger, and I took Tier 4. Tier 4 taught me a broad band of anger, where I have to learn close environment, stress, stresses. I had to learn how to be a valuable peer mentor. I had to learn how to understand that being coached, to understand that where I am as a person with anger, nervousness, yelling, whatever it is that environment is, I have to learn to difference where I need to choose to take myself away from that and understand those are the things that's triggering anger right now. Move away from that for a moment and look at those things. And every time you move away and look at those things, you're over here in a better spot. And that's what I learned. I learned that, okay, if somebody is angering me or if I'm angering myself, choose and move away to this spot and then look. Now you got these things that you could point out. 1, 2, and 3. Those 1, 2, and 3 are causing this anger. Take them away from you. Those are the main things that I learned. But the stress environment, we practiced. We practiced stress environments. We practiced the nervousness. We practiced the triggers. What is trigger? Everybody's trigger is different. And some of the things I've learned, I basically more learned other people triggers and try to relate them to mine. And that was my teaching of anger management. And that's how I became a mentor as of right now. And I'm in the federal unit with the veterans, and I'm a mentor there.
So in terms of, what some of my colleagues have talked to you about in terms of breaking the cycle of violence, specifically, public risk safety, you have at least 8 women of the mothers of your children that you are still in touch with, that you claim you have good relationships with. And then you have the victim of this instant offense, who's the mother of 2 of your youngest children.
Mm-hmm.
I guess I'm curious in terms of how many of your children are male versus female? Let's start there.
I had 11 daughters straight, and then I had 4 sons.
Okay. So have they witnessed any of these incidences of domestic violence that have occurred with any of their mothers or any of your other significant others?
No, man. No, never.
Okay. How are you communicating with your 11 sons in order to ensure that the cycle of violence is not perpetrated by them as they engage in relationships? What does that conversation look like?
Oh, miss, thank you for asking that, because I would like to share. My son, 2 of my sons, I stated in the beginning, he asked me, Daddy, my teacher allows me to come home, how come yours? I teach him about how to respect people, and he's going on 8. My other son says that he works in, what do you call it? It's some kind of program they do in school. I forgot what it is. And there's a girl that's being mean to him. And I said, well, listen, if she's being mean to you, maybe she likes you, or she doesn't know how to be nice to you. So I told him, have you ever shared your lunch with her or given her something so maybe you will understand that you think she's bullying you, but she's not, you know what I mean? Because she's still young. So I said, share your lunch, share your apple, but always respect a female. Don't put your hands on her. Don't yell at her. And then if you have any situation going on with that little girl or anybody, go to the teacher and let the teacher know. Don't be afraid to teach and tell the teacher that I'm having an issue. Second, bring it to mommy's attention. Never leave mommy out of any situation you're having in school. And another thing that he told me, he said the teacher wouldn't allow him to play with his toy. It was rest time when they were supposed to have rest time. And I said, well, if the teacher's not allowing you to play with your toy, shouldn't you ask the teacher, can you get a extra moment? Shouldn't you sit back and think and say, can I have an extra moment after recess time? and let your moms know, because I'm pretty sure when you go home, you're gonna have that same toy. So I try to break them and have full conversation with them, but I ask questions first. I let them speak and have questions first. And I teach them always, always, always have respect for a female. Have respect for a little girl. Show them you're the protector. Be nice. Be nice first. When you be nice to somebody, they have no other choice but to be nice to you. When you be mean to somebody, they're gonna be mean to you. So I teach my son to be nice. And if they keep choosing being mean to you, let somebody that's an adult know that they're being mean to you. But be nice to people because they're gonna follow you because you're being nice.
All right, so that's, I think, a very healthy conversation. So let's shift to your 11 daughters. How do you talk to them about not becoming victims of sexual predators or being, sexually violated in hotel rooms or punched in a car or some of the other behaviors that we've seen through some of these documents? What is your conversation like with your daughters, who I'm sure some of them are older and realize why you are where you are?
Thank you again for that one. So my oldest is 33, and Miss, I told her, don't pick nobody that makes mistakes. I've made mistakes. Don't be with nobody that made mistakes. Look at the person for who they are. You know what I mean? Talk to that person. Then seek help. Go to your mother, come to me. But seek help first, because I'm not going to be there. Your mom's not going to be there in a controlled environment. Seek help. Second, talk to the person you're with and understand. Try to figure out why you're being assaulted or why you're doing. Try to get yourself out of that environment by talking to that person. Let them know that I need you to understand this is not right. This is not healthy right now, what we're going through.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. So at this point, we're going to enter into deliberation and we'll come back to you with our decision, Mr. Williams, okay?
Thank you so much, Miss.
Okay. So, we do hear some change and some insight from Mr. Williams here today. He certainly has taken all the right programs, and he's been involved in the veterans unit, and he did some aftercare. He's remained disciplinary report free. So it really does appear that he's doing well at this time, and that he has taken advantage of rehabilitative efforts during this incarceration. My problem is, he's been down this road before, and during his last incarceration, he took programs. He didn't get any disciplinary reports, and he went out and committed this very serious offense. His criminal history is full of violence against women. And I think, like he said, the only way for him to prove that he truly has changed is to go out there and show it through his actions. I certainly hope that he is being sincere today and that he has changed and wants to put all of this violent criminal behavior behind him and start anew and be a better example for his children and be a better member of his community. But for today's purposes, my vote would be to deny based on the nature and circumstance of current offenses, which are very serious in nature, his criminal history and his poor history of community release. Mr. Rodriguez.
Madam Chair, I'm kind of in the same place. I'm challenged by the history in this. It's been over and over again. And in fact, some of the women who have children are some of the victims of some of his offenses. And this was a pretty, serious offense, and having to call out SWAT team and all kinds of stuff to kind of negotiate him out. I mean, it's just, for me, it was just a little bit too much. But I also agree that he seems to be at least getting himself on track.
Definitely.
And putting himself together. He's got his EOS is the end of this year, and he'll have some time on probation to kind of begin to work some of these things out for himself. I think he'll be able to use that time, and hopefully he'll use the extra time between now and December to continue looking at making himself even better at this point and improving his condition. I am not supportive of his discretionary parole today
Thank you.
either.
Ms. Alpacessa?
I do believe that Mr. Williams has had a light bulb moment in terms of his age and
Yeah.
where he is going in his life. But I do concur that I think the next few months should be used by Mr. Williams to refine his reentry plan.
Yeah.
To his sister, to set up whatever he needs to set up with CCAR and work. He has a lot of responsibilities out in the community,
Yeah.
so it's going to be a very important piece of his transition so that he can hit the ground running. He's in a very structured environment right now, and so I think when he goes back into the community in a few months, there are a lot of things waiting for him, including minor children and financial responsibilities and other things that he's going to need to do. So I hope he takes the period to set that up so that we can watch him be successful, and understanding that there is a large sentence over his head if he is not successful, that he will be right back here.
Thank you. Okay, in the matter of David Williams, inmate number 252464, I'll move to deny parole for the following reasons: the nature and circumstance of the current offenses, your criminal history, and your poor history on community release. Anything further? Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Sir, we appreciate your time here today. We
Thank
hope
you.
you'll take advantage of the remaining time there and your 5 years of probation for the support and supervision.
Thank you,
Wish you the best.
Enjoy your day.
You want anybody specific or just
Nope, just send the next person in. The window.
Don Duane?
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Is for Sean?
Mr. Brown,
Yes.
one moment. Good morning, my name is Parole Officer Martinez. Today is Wednesday, February 5th, 2025. Been here with the Connecticut Board of Pardons and Paroles. Following board members are present this morning and by stating their names on the record. Actually, all statutes and required documents and available pertinent information and preparation of this hearing.
Good morning, sir. I'm Jennifer Zachnini.
I'm Ellen Zappo Sasso.
Good morning, Panama Rodriguez.
How are you doing?
Please state your name and inmate number for the record.
Quantel Brown, 370-488.
This hearing is being conducted in consideration of the parole application for Quantel Brown, inmate number 370488. He is serving a sentence of 10 years, execution suspended after 3 years with 5 years probation for sale of narcotic and possession with intent to sell. As of today, records reflect the parole eligibility date of March 14, 2025. There is no victim input in this case. There is an offender accountability plan for the offender. Mr. Brown has maintained employment in laundry, has completed tier 2 voices in domestic violence. Utilizing the statewide collaborative offender risk evaluation system, the offender's overall score on the SRT falls within the high range of risk for recidivism. This is your opportunity to express to the board why you believe you should be granted parole. You may begin, Ms. Brown.
Can I read a letter, like a little?
Yeah.
I put, while in prison, I had to do some serious reflecting on not only my past, but my present. It's the only way I can build a proper foundation on which my future is going to be built. My family and my community deserve the new and improved version of me. I've been working hard to become a better person for myself as well. I made mistakes in my past that I regret, that I cannot change. Only thing I can do is move forward and from here on out be the best person that I can be. With consistency and dedication to a sober and healthy lifestyle, anything is possible.
Thank you for your statement, sir. We have some questions for you. When we're done, we'll deliberate and give you our decision.
Right.
We'll start with my colleague, Mr. Rodriguez.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Thank you, Mr. Brown. You know, you're charged with selling narcotics, right?
Yeah.
What drugs were you selling?
And cocaine,
Sorry, cocaine?
yes,
And, I mean, you realize the current scourge we have out in the streets now, right?
yes,
Huh?
yes.
And it was interesting that I didn't hear any kind of, apology to the community or anything like that. I mean, your actions ended up affecting probably lots of people in the community. Right?
Yes.
Yeah. What's your thought about that?
Well, I'm definitely apologize for the people that I have harmed or look down on me like I'm a drug dealer, because I know, well, a lot of people know me as a good person. I'm better than what people think I am.
Why were you selling? Why were you selling?
I'm not only affecting me, but I'm affecting my daughter, my family. Like, it's to a point where it's starting to get embarrassing to me.
Yeah. Why were you selling?
Just trying to, around that time, I had lost my job. It's not really an excuse, but I had lost my job, and it was things.
A lot of people lose their job and don't sell drugs.
And you're absolutely right with that.
So what led you to that?
Just trying to keep a few dollars in my pockets. Going the wrong way of doing it.
And you understand that's at the expense of other people's lives.
Yes, I do.
All right. You were also on special parole when you did this. You were already. What were you thinking?
I wasn't thinking at all, to be honest with you.
It wasn't that long ago. This is only, it's not like you were, young when you got this charge. This was 2 years ago.
Yes.
I mean, it wasn't like you were a young guy and didn't get it. You're impulsive. You're a person who, were already older. I'm trying to figure out, like, what in the world were you thinking, man? You were on special parole. Did you think had you not been caught before?
I have been caught before.
Yeah. So
I guess it was more of me thinking I know everything, trying to, if I do it this way, I probably won't get caught. And knowing in my mind is wrong, and you're gonna get the same results. It don't matter how many ways you try to think that you're trying to do it, you're gonna get caught. And that's why since I've been down, I took these programs. I'm trying to figure out a new path. When I was just home, ended up getting married, so like now I got a family that looks at me. And I don't want them to see me continue back and forth in jail for stupid decisions that I'm making.
Your fourth incarceration.
You're absolutely
I mean, I'm
right.
not sure like at what point do you figure it out? Do you learn it? You're saying it's now, but I mean, you know, your history goes back to 2008. Aside from that, you've had 11 community releases. 6 you've done well in, and maybe we can talk a little bit about, you know, how you managed to do that. But 5 you didn't do well in at all. You have an escape from community release. We're here kind of trying to figure out, does it make sense to let you out back into the community when you know, in the past have created all these dangers for the public? Do you know what I mean? See the challenge that we have?
Yes.
Yeah. And what I want to be able to hear from you is that there's a real change in you now. You've taken some programming.
I'm currently in, they didn't say it, but I'm currently in tier 2 right now, which is done March 6th. I don't know, she said she sent the email to the in-house parole officer, which she wrote a little sign at the bottom. I don't know if I got it or not, because she sent it yesterday. But like, I'm really trying. Like, I'm 35. I see people in here that 60, 70, 50 years old. I can't be one of them. I refuse to be one of them.
Your history says that you probably will be, because you rate high in terms of coming back to prison. You rate high.
It's sad, and it's sad. It's sad when I think about it, because you're right. I can't. There's no argument that I could. But
Yeah, the reason you rate high is because your education, your social support's not that good in your criminal history.
I got some college credits.
I read that. Yeah.
I got I want to go back, but I'm going to go back for counseling. I want to be a counselor. And then here I've been trying to, they got this thing called C-Car.
It's like, are you involved with C-Car?
Yesterday he came into the tier 2 program and told us about it.
Well, whatever happens today, I'm gonna suggest that you get involved with C-Car.
Yeah, with the way when he explained it, I feel like that's a good fit for me.
Yeah, I think so. I think it'd be good.
Because it's more about like helping other people stay sober, stay out of trouble, especially for like the younger generation. I could tell them, like, they could learn off of my mistakes.
You were working when you were arrested?
No, I had lost my job.
I know you weren't working. Got it. But you have had some previous employment.
Yeah.
In what, in the mechanical field?
Yeah, it was a warehouse where I got my forklift license. So like right now, my brother, he works at a warehouse. I guess it's like with pool tables. And he's been working there for about 4 or 5 years now. So he told me when I come home, because it's in New Haven, or outside, so the town outside of New Haven. He said when you get there, everybody talk to his boss about me. He told me just bring him in, and if we like him, we got a spot for him. So that's what I'm really thinking on. I got another friend. He just started like a youth basketball program. So I played high school basketball. I got a scholarship to CCRI in Rhode Island. And he want me to come like help train like inner city kids. So they won't go down like the wrong path. So I'm gonna, feel me? He said he'll hire me for that. it won't make much because he just started, but he'll hire me, give me, so I can have a few dollars in my pockets, so I won't have to be out there doing anything. Because there's a lot of people out there that know I'm better than this. Like, I made mistakes, and I made like decisions that I shouldn't have been making, but I also made good decisions in my life too.
What were those?
School, working, helping people. I guess forklift license. Before I had my domestic charge, I was working. That's one of the reasons I lost my job, because of that.
Well, there are consequences, right?
Yeah, I guess it is. I'm paying for it.
Yeah.
It hurt too.
So you took DV, you took domestic violence.
Took domestic violence.
What did you learn from that?
If you're in a situation, it don't matter if it's like family or friends, if it's toxic, the best thing to do is just leave it alone. Get away from it, find something else. Like, because you never know what could happen. You could just be arguing with somebody and the neighbor hear it, they call the police, I'm going to jail because I'm on parole and stuff like that. So I got to be aware of my surroundings and who I interact with and the people that I come across, because being on parole, the snapping of a finger, you can be back behind bars over petty stuff that you can't control.
Well, what did you learn about relationships in DV?
Well, I'm not with that person no more, so I'm moving
Well,
on.
you're gonna be with somebody at some point.
Yeah,
What did you learn? What did you learn about what's a positive looking relationship?
Communication, anything you might not agree on, but you know, if you talk and resolve and get to the middle of something, it'll all work out. You know, if you get it to a little to it and like arguing or it's getting a little out of hand, the best thing to do is just go outside, get some cool air, walk away, go to a family member house for a couple of days, let it die down. But if it keep repeating itself, that's when you gotta take a step back, go do your own thing. Domestic violence is real. Domestic violence is real.
Okay, all right. So when you come out, when that happens for you, you're gonna need support, right? What's currently your social support in the community? Who's gonna be your support in the community? What's gonna be your support system?
I'm prone to my, well, if I get parole, I'm prone to my mother's house. She's really supportive of me. You know, she got like her little, she's an entrepreneur. She do different things with like clothing. And I went to school for that too, clothing, graphic designing. Mm-hmm. So she about to teach me like how to like, I'm about to try to come up with like a clothing brand and see like, you know, see how far I do. She's gonna help me with that, how to do that. I got a lot of outs. I just gotta go home and utilize them, and that's my problem. I go home and instead of using the people that's trying to help me, I try to go and do it on my own. And that ain't.
It hasn't worked out for you.
Yeah, my way don't work out. So now, like I said, I'm 30, about to be 36 this year.
Yeah.
I got a 10-year-old daughter. I'm married now. She has kids. So, and I'm a reflection of them. So if they see me doing things I'm not supposed to be doing, they're gonna think it's okay. And that's the last thing I want. I don't want nobody feeling what I'm doing is okay. So I gotta come home. I'm gonna do things the right way this time. Like you said, my way don't work.
Yeah, well, no, your way is giving you a lot of challenges.
Giving me a whole lot.
For incarcerations, I think your way is giving you some real problems.
It's embarrassing.
Yeah. You're currently working now?
Yeah,
So-
yeah.
Yeah, where are you working? What are you working in?
Laundry.
How long have you been there?
Like a month and a half now.
You worked anywhere before that in the facility?
Almost two. Nah, I got to this facility in July. No, August, July, one of them months. And I wrote, so the opportunity came and it was my turn up because it's a list of, when they came for me with the job, I took it.
Okay. Well, I mean, I want to be, I want to be honest with you. I mean, I'm very challenged by you haven't finished the program yet. You did take some programming, which is a good thing. You don't have any tickets to disincarceration. That's a positive thing. Your criminal history is really, sticks out for me. That's a real challenge. The fact that you've had 5 unsuccessful releases, the fact that you've escaped when you were out on release, the fact that this happened when you were under special parole. Why didn't you use your parole officer to help you out?
I be asking them, like, is there any things like jobs to like help me with that? They all tell me in the job fairs here. I go to job fairs. I've been to a couple job fairs from New Haven to Bridgeport to Stamford. He definitely tried to get me the domestic thing I caught that was in Stamford. He tried to get me to switch my parole from New Haven to Stamford, and I told him like that ain't a good idea because me and my significant other not seeing eye to eye, but it was easier for me to get from work from Stamford because I was working in Norwalk at the mechanical place. And I told him, like, it ain't a good idea. Like, is there anything where I could, like, something to help me get like low income housing and stuff like that? But by the time, it's just too late.
Too late, already.
I already was incarcerated. He was, but like that week, he told me he was going to go send me some stuff for low income. And I was already incarcerated due to that, the domestic. So,
well, I hope if you do end up, having an opportunity to go out again, that you, really try to connect very closely with your parole officer and make sure you utilize them, to max out what services you can get to be able to help you out, not to fall back into that situation. This is a bad pattern you have, of coming out, or you're under supervision. You don't do what's right. You get violated. It's not a good thing. As part of, give me some thoughts on your release plan. What's your plan when you come out?
I'm gonna go and try to enroll into Gateway Community College. I was there before. I'm gonna start that so I could, like I told you, I got some college credits already for graphic designing. Graphic designing was my minor. My major was the counseling thing. So I'm gonna go back, pick that up. So I could get like a certificate. It's gonna look good for when I do the C-Con that I got a certificate. So I'm gonna that work. Like I said, I'm gonna go with my brother to the pool place to try to get a job in there. If not, I'm gonna try to, temp agency.
Well, look, whatever happens, you still have time today. I mean, even if you were paroled, it's not going to be today. You need to really kind of set yourself up for the outside. You need to be kind of ready to go before going out and not having anything set up. So, you're with CECO, you're in Tier 2 now. My suggestion would be to start looking for a sponsor for yourself on the outside, work with CCAR, try to stay connected with them and see if you can get a recovery coach to kind of help you out, develop a strong recovery plan for yourself coming out and a little bit stronger release plan. So you're more prepared when you come out. You have a tablet. Make sure you start using that tablet to start looking for work and try to have as much of this set up before you come out. Because my concern is that, you're not that prepared on your release and you have some time. So you've got some time to work on this. That would be my suggestion. At this moment, I don't have any additional questions for you. I'm going to reserve any additional questions I may have after I listen to my colleagues and their questions. But I want to thank you for answering the questions that I did have this morning.
All right, welcome.
Right? And good luck to you, Mr. Brown.
Thank you.
Madam Chair.
Thank you, Mr. Rodriguez. Ms. Alziphat.
Good morning, Mr. Brown.
Mm.
One of the themes that I've seen after reading through these documents is the fact that, unlike probably the majority of people that we talk to during these hearings, you came out of a high school that has a solid reputation. You had a basketball scholarship, went out of state to a community college, and are almost done with your degree. And yet, one simple act of a domestic violence incident derailed everything for you in terms of a job, and you then resorted to selling drugs on the street. To me, I feel like I'm missing something. And the question that I want to ask you is, in one of the documents, it did note that you had been tested and one of the urine tests showed cocaine, PCP, and marijuana. So in addition to dealing, you clearly were using. And I'm curious for you to reflect and tell me, how did the actual use of drugs impact all of this avalanche of decisions and actions that happened to you?
Community, following around the wrong people, trying to fit in, knowing it's the wrong thing. Because my mother definitely was supportive, so she didn't have. So the decisions she asked me, what did she do wrong? And when she asked me that, it hurt, because she didn't do nothing wrong but try to raise me the right way. So my actions and my poor decision, trying to follow the wrong people, trying to fit in, trying to be known, be noticed, led me to do things that I shouldn't have been doing. So, yeah, like cocaine, partying, I know what's wrong. It's wrong. And it hurt. Anything, it just hurt. Like, about to be 35, it's like probably like a fifth, sixth time in front of a parole board, and you just start getting frustrated after a while, and starting to let down a lot of people. When I see them I'm letting them down, it hurt me. It hurt me most. It hurts my community the most. Yeah, I'm just tired of it, to be honest. Tired.
Yeah, I understand. And I understand that a lot of those factors that you talk about are very common with young men who are in their teens, in their early 20s. Unfortunately, this behavior, continued despite all of these good opportunities that were offered to you that really honestly don't present to a lot of other people. And in the interim of all this, you have a daughter now who's 10, right?
Yes.
So, I look at all that and I think, how do we keep making decisions? It's almost like you're doing it to yourself. You're self-imploding with these decisions, but knowing you have support, you have a daughter, you have education, you've done well working. And I have to just come back with the assumption that some of this is motivated by your substance misuse. And are you fully dealing with those issues? And how are you going to deal with them? You did mention a little bit to my colleague about your release plan, but I feel like this is the part that we need to talk about a little bit more. And I know that these hearings are difficult, but it also feels to me like we're pulling words out of you. This is your opportunity to be honest and clear with us about where you are now and what that means. And we're not shaming you. You've had substance use issues that have affected your life. I would feel more comfortable having the conversation with you about you telling me how you're going to prevent relapses back into the community. So you have a release plan. It's to go to your mother. It's to resume education. The entrepreneurial piece of that is really exciting, but those seem to me to be long-term issues. Short-term, how are you going to come out and stay sober and stay drug-free? Talk to me about what your plan is to do that, but also what your relapse plan could possibly look like.
But this is why I'm trying to join the C card thing. Have a coach that could tell me or show me what he did to better himself, become free of the environment he came from. And it's not even about the environment, it's about the willpower that you have. Like, you could, there's been times when I wasn't selling drugs, I done passed by drug dealers or passed by other users and I ignored it. So I know I could do it because I've done it before, multiple times. It's just when it comes to this, me making the poor decisions when things get tough, but that's what really, that's like a trigger for me. So that's why I'm trying to take the C card. I'm happy he came in yesterday to my tier 2 group because I wouldn't have knew nothing about it or what they'd have to offer. Now that I know what they have to offer, I feel like I could really use that and take initiative of what they have to offer, become better, and the next person that's in my shoes or have any or close to what I could show them what I went through to stop.
I just have one more question for you. You had referenced the Urban League as part of your release plan. Can you just give me a quick description of what that program is and what you hope to gain from it?
That program is in New Haven. They do groups there where they teach you like, first they help you with low income. Like if you're, for like me, fresh out of jail, or for anybody who's fresh out of jail, that's a good program to attend because they help you with housing. If you have a business plan or a small business plan and they feel like it's good, they'll help you get a loan. It's kind of like C-card when it comes to like people who's addicted to drugs or addicted to whatever they're addicted to. They help you with that. Your credit. I teach you how to build your credit. That's what I'm trying to work on too. Because my credit's not that bad, but it's not good neither because I never owned nothing before. So they help you with that. Yeah, that program helped me with a lot, especially for people that's coming fresh out of jail.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right, Mr. Brown. So I have a similar concern to my colleague, Mr. Rodriguez, in that you were on special parole and you really struggled with that period of special parole. On that same period of special parole, you returned 3 times with criminal charges. I don't understand why you didn't take advantage of that supervision and support and why you thought it was okay to go out there and commit more crimes. This time you didn't have a weapon, so I'll give you that. But I mean, it's the same nonsense over and over. Did you just never learn anything throughout that whole process?
No, I did learn this. I did programs in jail. Like I said before, it's just,
I have to get over that hump where things get challenging. I can't start making my own decisions. So when things get challenging, I have to figure out another hobby or another way to live. So I won't have to go back to my old ways.
I mean, you've been doing this. You've been in the system your entire adult life, and you're 35, right? Because I see the larceny second and robbery second. 08 puts you at about 17, 18 years old, right? Were you in high school when you committed that robbery? Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. And ever since then, it's just been a cycle, a vicious cycle in and out of the system. I see a few years where you were doing good, like, let's see, 2013 and 14, what were you doing?
I was working at a construction, temp agency construction site, which was a temp agency. So I wasn't there that long.
So what happened? You lost that and started selling drugs again?
Fortunately.
Okay. And then it also looks like in 17, 17 and 18, you were doing all right, or maybe 18 and 19. What were you doing then?
I was working at a restaurant called Roscoe Flats, Stamford.
Okay.
Then I got
And what happened to that job?
One day I went to work and change was on the door and they was gone.
Wait, say that again. I'm sorry.
One day I went to work. When I got there, they had the change was on the door. They was just.
Okay, so then you went back to selling drugs, except this time you had a gun in the car.
I wasn't even selling drugs around that time.
Okay, but you had drugs and you brought drugs into the prison, so you got more time for that. I mean, it's just a vicious cycle. I don't know how it ends, but I also don't know how you're not tired. You were a kid when you came in.
Yeah. Believe me, I'm tired.
Yeah. I mean, I would think. What was you got 3 additional years of probation for assault third. What happened?
3 additional for assault third?
Yeah, you have 3 years of probation attached to this offense for an assault third conviction. Domestic, what happened?
Oh, I thought you were talking about like some, that's when I told my parole officer it wasn't a good idea for me to go there.
Well, we're not going to blame your parole officer, but I just want to know what happened in the offense.
I'm not blaming him. I'm just, because he asked me, do I want to just switch my parole there? And I told him, no, it's not a good idea because me and my significant other at the time wasn't getting along. And I told her, it's over. I don't want to deal with you no more. Same thing I told my parole officer, this is what I told her. I told her, I don't want to deal with her no more. It's over. It's toxic. We're not going to work out. Go do you. I'm doing me. But in the midst of that, I was staying there time to time.
Well, that's a bad idea.
It was closer for me to go to work.
Yeah.
Commuting from New Haven to Norwalk. It was bad.
All right. Can you get us to the assault 3 arrest and conviction, please?
She found out I was doing me. I was dealing with somebody else. So she got mad, got into an argument, and she told me that I'm going to pay for it. So on my way to work, Stamford police calls me and tells me to come to the police station to tell my side of the story, which I didn't know for what.
Okay, so you're saying nothing happened, basically. Nothing happened. Okay. So at the very least, and I don't know that I believe your story, but let's just say I do. At the very least, you made a very bad choice of using an ex-girlfriend while you've moved on to somebody else, right?
I wasn't using her.
You're staying at her place.
When I first came home, we was trying to work on us. I was working.
You just told me that you stayed at her place because it was closer to where you had to go for work.
No, listen. When I first came, I was dealing with her. Me and her were together for 8 years up until that point.
Yeah.
But when I first came home, I went there. We was trying to make it work. It wasn't working. It wasn't working. We wasn't seeing eye to eye.
Right.
So probably like 2 months of me being home, that's when I told her like it's not working.
Right.
But we were in love, so even though we know it's not working, we still trying to maybe see if something else changed. And it
You're
didn't
seeing
change.
someone else.
Yeah,
Can you hear your story? Can you hear yourself when you talk?
yeah.
You were using her. You were staying at her place and you had moved on. You were with somebody else. Anyway, we move on. You have to make better choices, is my point. Right? You have to do the right thing. And I don't know that that's what really happened because, you know, an assault 3 usually requires some evidence. But anyhow, even if that did happen, you were making some bad choices. I certainly hope that at 35, you're beginning to outgrow some of this behavior because it's just too much. You know, you did all the same programs your last incarceration and you didn't learn anything. So I hope you have a different perspective. You're looking at it a little differently and absorbing the information a little more this time around because slowly, but you're doing small installments of a life sentence here, you know? All right, give us a few minutes to discuss your case, deliberate, and we're going to get back to you shortly with our decision, okay?
Yes.
Oh, I had one more question. Why did you get married while you were out on bond?
The person I love. And
Yeah, but I mean, you get married when you know you're coming right back to prison?
it was, well, she was, I honestly, I told her we should wait until I was done, but she wasn't hearing it. So I didn't want to, like, spoil, I didn't want to, like, spoil her.
Okay. Mr. Rodriguez.
Yeah, thank you, Madam Chair. So, Mr. Brown, and I shared my concern earlier, Mr. Brown, that his history was just a lot for me. A lot of repetitive behavior, issues around substance abuse. I don't think he really has a prepared release plan at this particular moment to come out and kind of, you know, put him in a place where he can really make some of the things work that he wants to make work, because I do hear some positive things from him. It's not like everything is negative in this particular situation. But because of his criminal history, his inadequate release plan, the offense was committed on special parole, which I also had a big issue with at this point. He kind of, you know, didn't use his parole also the way he needed to. I'm a denial for today, but I would be willing to bring him back. Probably sometime around September, to give him a chance to finish his tier 2, to give him a chance to connect with CCAR, to establish himself a very positive release plan that will conclude sponsorship on the outside, to set up his social network a little bit more closely on the outside, to work on setting up employment for himself on the outside. At this point, I would not be in any agreement to let him out at this point. I don't think he's ready for that yet. And, so I'm a denial, but I would be willing to rehear his case.
Thank you, Mr. Rodriguez. Ms. Zappa-Sassi?
I agree. Despite the stoicism of Mr. Brown, I do think that if he had a little bit of time to pull things together, that it would be worthy of a rehear.
Okay. All right, when do you want to rehear?
I thought September. It gives him quite a bit of time to finish his tier program, to put CCAR together, to put a sponsorship together, a recovery coach together, to kind of work on setting up some job opportunities on the outside, some interviews on the outside, and to set up his social network on the outside that would give him some real support when he comes out. And it would give him some time on discretionary parole to have some support in the community if he needed to pull some of those things together.
I would support tier 4 if it was ever able to be available.
No,
still.
I mean, we can't really. He's in tier 2. They're not going to put him in tier 4 after that because they determined that was his need.
I mean, it's just
But there's other things he could do as far as addiction services stuff. Yeah. All right. Yeah. Okay. So what are your reasons?
I have criminal history, current offense committed while under probation, parole, or community service, and inadequate institution program. I'm sorry, an inadequate release plan.
I wouldn't use criminal history because that's not going to change when I bring back. But while on special parole and inadequate release plan.
Yeah.
All right, in the matter of Quantel Brown, inmate number 3700488, I'll move to deny parole at this time for the following reasons: offense committed while on community release, specifically special parole, an inadequate release plan. We'll rehear the case in September of 2025 with the recommendation that you receive no disciplinary reports, which you haven't, and continue with positive programs and develop a more extensive release plan. Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Do you have any questions?
Nope.
All right, we're gonna give you another shot at this. We need you to do a little more work. Okay?
Yeah.
Best of luck to you.
This concludes the hearing for Quantel 70488. Morning, my name is Paul Officer Martinez. Today is Wednesday, February 5th, 2025. This is the hearing of the Connecticut Board of Felonies and Paroles. Following board members are present this morning and by stating their names on record, certified they have reviewed all statutorily required documents and available current information in preparation for this hearing.
Good morning, sir. I'm Jennifer Zaccanini.
I'm Ellen Sasser.
Good morning, panel member Rodriguez.
Good morning.
Please state your name and inmate number for the record.
Rayquan Barrett, 426-988.
This hearing is being conducted in consideration of the parole application for Rayquan Barrett, inmate number 426988. He is serving a sentence of 10 years, executed suspended after 5 years with 5 years probation for possession of a smell and 2 counts of felony possession of a firearm. As of today, records reflect the parole eligibility date of March 15, 2024. There is no victim input in this case. The inmate was heard by the board on March 15, 2024. He was denied parole and no hearing date was set for February of 2025. The board recommended that the inmate participate in Tier 4 aftercare along with other positive programs. They also recommended that he continue to work towards the GED and to refrain from obtaining any DRs. Since his last hearing, the offender has completed the following programs. Mr. Barrett has completed Addictive Lifestyle, Smart Recovery, Voices, Tier 4, and is currently in the Change Unit and is attending school for his GED. Utilizing the state collaborative offender risk evaluation system, the offender's overall score for risk of recidivism falls within the very high range. This is your opportunity to express to the board why you believe you should be granted parole. You may begin, Mr. Barrett.
Good morning. First and foremost, I would like to say thank you for giving me the opportunity to be heard and allowing me to advocate on my own behalf and grant us the purpose of parole. Before I continue, I would like to give my sincerest apologies to the victims and their families, including my own, for the pain I've caused. I take full responsibility for my actions. I now understand the severity of my crime and the people that were affected by my decisions. During my incarceration, I've been able to make big changes in my life, such as enrolling myself in a school, aiming to get my GED, currently in the aftercare change unit, completed Tier 4 Voices, Addictive Lifestyle, Smart Recovery, Life Skills only in a new U and other NAAA meeting group programs. In Tier 4, I learned that the criminal and addiction is just a state of mind. When you think like a criminal, you inhabit criminal ways, which I realized the impact my criminal thinking and values had on my behavior. Voices taught me that there are no victimless crimes. Everybody's affected by the crime you commit. Addictive Lifestyles and Smart Recovery and NAA groups within the change have taught me that part of my previous life was fueled by addiction and violence, which is something I recognize and have no interest in, which also kept me to remain DR free. I have a strong desire to have more control over my life and peace. Thanks to these programs, I see the importance of having a structured plan for my life. I now have the skills and attitudes to succeed, and to ensure that I took time to structure a plan so I won't fail. I'll be going to CT Works or temp agencies for employment, which will help me financially and provide me with an honest living while I work. I'm willing to stay with my mother so I can save money to get a place of my own. This will allow me to create stability for myself. Also, to continue my education on the outside. I have taken a hard look on my life and the circumstances that brought me to prison, and I learned from them. I'm always trying to improve myself and learn from my mistakes. I believe I developed the tools, attitude, and behavior to live a good, productive life. Thank you.
All right, Mr. Barrett, thank you for your statement. So you've been through this process before. This is a rehear. We're going to ask you questions and we'll deliberate and give you our decision, okay?
Yes.
We'll begin with my colleague, Ms. Zapple-Sasser.
So, in looking at your documents, you were given a direction the last time you appeared before the board, and it does appear that you have fulfilled what they asked you to do in the last year. So, let's just start with a very broad question. What's changed for you since you last appeared before this board and were denied the first time? Tell us about the motivation that you undertook to get here today.
Well, I knew I had to strive more, apply myself more, to reset and reflect on things I have done. And it gave me like the momentum to keep going, to aim for my goal, which is to be outside, free, and live a productive life and do the right thing. I know that I don't want this for myself. And I know if I could do the right thing in here, I know I could do it on the outside while I still have a chance left in life.
Okay. As part of your release plan, are you headed back to Bridgeport?
No.
Where are you going?
I'm going to Hartford, East Hartford, with my mother.
Okay. And so tell me about any relationships you still have in Bridgeport. Are they all done? Do you ever foresee that becoming a complication?
No, because my whole family, I wasn't just out there on my own. My whole family is in Windsor, Vernon, and East Hartford. I don't have no ties to Bridgeport.
Because I wasn't here last year, but I have to assume that catching those two charges a week apart probably was not looked upon very well by people reviewing your case. I'm stuck on the fact that the first week of December, you actually have a gun tucked between your buttocks with a live round. And then a week later, you're pulled over again. So obviously a change of scenery is something that is going to be a big part of you moving forward. The drug use as well had to have contributed, I would assume. So tell me about your tier programs and any type of knowledge you've gained from them, because we've seen the marijuana use, you were doing perks 4 times a day, you had experimented with ecstasy. So obviously staying sober and having a very robust plan to stay sober is going to be important as well.
Yes. Well, with that, I was experimenting, going through, I want to say, a rough time, as I should say, a rough time going through, letting my emotions get the best of me and thinking off of impulse, just doing things I shouldn't have done. And I was a victim to violence, which made me like start taking the Percocets, and which led to my addiction. And now that I have a clear mind, I see things different, and I want to do the right thing.
Within one of the reports we read, you were described as a model student while taking your GED classes. How do you feel that that is going to help you moving forward?
Because with the GED, I'll be able to get more employment, and I know I can do it. I just never had the mindset to push myself how I do now, which I'm getting older and know that time is ticking.
Right. So do you feel that I see that you've mentioned Jersey Mike's as you come out of your incarceration period. What are your long-term plans? Do you have any goals that you can talk about?
Yes, I want to get my GED and go for my CDLs and take it on the road so I can honestly move out of state and live a better life.
How far along are you with your GED?
I'm a test left.
My only other questions are really related to a release plan in terms of, you had mentioned NAAA attendance. What else did you set up for yourself to make sure that you're successful in the community?
I'm going to do any drug programs I have to do in the world. I'm going to take it further and reach out to the AANA for a sponsor so I can be level-headed and maintain focus.
Okay. I mean, I think this has probably been discussed before with your previous hearings, but you are known as a persistent offender with guns and drugs. And those are pieces of our society and very negative effects on our community. And I'm just wondering, in terms of the programming that you've taken, if you've come to understand the impact that you've had in the community with drugs and guns.
Yes, I do.
And moving ahead, what do you envision in terms of that?
I'm going to go first in that lifestyle. I see what it costs to the community, my family, and the consequences on myself.
You've never been on a community release program before, so you're going to have a period of time where you're going to have somebody working with you in the community on probation. Do you understand the role that they're going to play and the role that you should have them play in your life?
Yes. I'm willing to take all the structure that they're giving and anything that they have to provide for me to do.
That's all the questions I have at this time.
Thank you. All right, Mr. Barrett. So you have to register with the Deadly Weapon Offender Registry. Have you been on that before?
Yes. I think Middletown, I think that's yes.
Okay, so you've reported them in the past. Does New York have a registry as well?
I don't know. I'm not too sure with that one.
Okay. So listen, I understand that you were shot in the past, right? It was a case of mistaken identity.
Yes.
So imagine if that person never had a gun, they wouldn't have shot you, right?
Absolutely.
And
Yes.
it's just this vicious cycle. But being that this is your fourth firearm conviction, they know who you are out there. You're just not going to get away with it. Nor should you want to. You have to find a different way if you feel like you need protection. So how would you handle that differently? If you felt like you needed protection from someone, rather than get a gun, what can you do?
Make sure I follow the law.
Yeah. I mean, have you ever gone to the police? Did you file a police report when you were shot?
They didn't know I had got shot in Bridgeport. They didn't know what happened. It just never. I was shot and it went on. I got questioned once saying I didn't know what happened coming out of the club, the bar, and that was
Did you really
it.
have no idea who shot you?
No, I really didn't. It was more than one person that got hit, shot that night. And yes, I was a part of one of them.
And what year was that?
This was, I want to say 2020.
and it's been a battle for you since then.
Yes.
However, your first gun conviction was prior to that then.
Yes.
Yeah. Not good. Happy to see that you participated in good programs since your last hearing. And I think we pointed out that you've had no disciplinary reports throughout. And, because you've never had the benefit of supervision, I think that would be important for you. But you also have to take advantage of it, right? They're not just out there to bring you back to prison. It's their job to try to work with you and help you so that you'll be successful in the community. Do you understand that?
I understand that. And I'm willing to seek the help that they have to get me.
Yeah, no, you have to. Is it the math test that you're still waiting on for your GED?
Yes.
Okay. Well, I hope you'll follow through with that because the GED is going to help you in the community.
I am.
Yeah. Okay. You did receive good and excellent evaluations from school and the programs that you took. So the facilitators had good things, positive things to say about you. Mr. Rodriguez.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Yeah, Mr. Barrett, it looks like you're trying to do, what's right. You followed through on the last panel's recommendations. So it looks like you're really working toward wanting to do well. I mean, I will share that I do have concerns about all these gun possession charges, especially with what's going on today on the outside. There's, lots of, I'm sure there are lots of young men getting killed on the outside, all weapons related. So, the guns are flourishing on the outside. And I would be concerned that I'm hoping that you're not going to turn to that again.
No.
But no, you seem like you've followed through on the recommendations, and you've remained ticket free, and you've done what you need to do to kind of get through what the last panel wanted you to complete and get done. I don't have any additional questions for you, but thank you so much and good luck.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, Mr. Barrett, give us a few minutes to discuss your case and we'll come back to you with our decision. Ms. Applesassy?
So, Mr. Barrett did follow through with the requests of the former panel that reviewed him last March. He's completed a large number of programs. He has received good reviews from those programs and has continued with the progress that was requested of him regarding his GED. He does show a very high rate for potential recidivism, so I was interested to hear this morning about a mindset change. I do like the fact that there is a change of environment where he is removing himself from Bridgeport and going to East Hartford. He has lined up potential employment. He is committed to programs. He has remained discipline-free and understands the requirements of both the period of probation as well as the deadly weapons registry that are going to be imposed on him. So I would be willing to grant him discretionary parole today. And I just have one question through the chair, if we have to make any reference to the out-of-state detainer that expires tomorrow.
No, his sentence ends today in New York. So the detainer's been lifted. I don't see a detainer in the system yet. So we don't have one. Thank you. Okay, I agree. I agree.
I'm good.
Yeah, okay.
So we have
Co-defendants.
2 co-defendants.
Yeah.
He was releasing to his mother, which has been confirmed, I think, right?
Yeah, I don't have any other
Yeah,
conditions.
that's all I have. Standards.
All right, in the matter of Raewon Barrett, inmate number 426988, I'll move to grant parole effective today, February 5th, 2025, with the additional condition of no contact with your co-defendants, Marquise, Marrow, or Terry Smith. I can't read my own writing. Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, sir. We've granted you parole. You'll hear from someone soon about your release. And we wish you the best. Keep working on yourself, okay? And use parole and probation as a resource. Good luck to you, sir.
I will. Thank you. Thank you, sir. Thank you, miss.
This is here for Barrett, inmate number 42698.
We're going to take a brief recess. We'll be back in a few minutes.
So we'll be back in a few minutes.
Oh,
Mr. Carolina, we'll be right back, okay?
sure, absolutely.
My name is Paroles. My name is Parole Officer Martinez. Today is Wednesday, February 5th, 2025. This is a hearing of the Connecticut Board of Pardons and Paroles. The following board members are present this morning, and by stating their names on the record, certified they have reviewed all statutorily required documents and available pertinent information.
Good morning, sir. I'm Jennifer Zaccanini.
Good morning, Christopher Carolina.
I'm Ellen Zappo-Sassu.
Good morning, Christopher Carolina.
I got your name already, but good morning, panel member Rodriguez.
Good morning.
Good morning, Mr. Carolina.
Good morning.
Your name and inmate number for the record.
Excuse me?
Mr. Carolina, can you state your inmate number for the record?
Oh, sure. 166398.
This hearing is being conducted in consideration of the parole application for Christopher Carolina, inmate number 166398. Mr. Carolina serving a sentence of 12 years, execution suspended after 5 years with 3 years probation for possession with intent, 3 counts of violation of probation with underlying offenses, 3 counts of possession with intent, sale of narcotic. As of today, records reflect a parole eligibility date of June 19, 2025. There is no victim input in this case. There is an offender accountability plan for the offender. Mr. Carolina has completed Christian Fatherhood Program, Voices Tier 2, CCAR, and is currently in the Pell Program, the Second Chance Program. Mr. Carolina has outside plans and is employed in the lobby. Utilizing the statewide collaborative offender risk evaluation system, the offender's overall score on the SRT falls within the very high range of risk and safety. This is your opportunity to express to the board why you believe you should be granted parole. You may begin, Mr. Carolina.
Excuse me?
You're up. Why don't we give you parole, sir?
Oh, because I feel that I made a major change on this time, this turnaround. For the last 3 decades and a half or so, I've been living in a cloud. Right? I'm the only child. I've been living in a cloud. And, as shameful as it would have been to admit, I turned into a severe drug addict. And the only people that I used to hang around with were people of, like-minded, people who considered me, I was self-accepted for indulging in any type of drug use. But since I've been in here, and it took me so long to even admit that I'm an addict. I'm an addict. I mean, any other time you'd let me go, you couldn't tell me that I was an addict. And there was no way that I would ever admit to being an addict. But now that I've been in here, I found out some things about myself that I didn't even know. I got into the Pell Program. Right now, I'm holding on to a 3.64 grade point average. Couldn't even believe I did it. Voices, I learned that there are no victimless crimes. I brought my family and anybody else that I may have been in contact with, I've seen so many different things. I've been working on my sobriety for, this entire time. I even caught a Class A ticket when I was at McDougal. It was for a Class A contraband. I caught that ticket because I had just heard some bad news in court that month. So the way I used to always do my coping mechanism, I would get high. But after I made it, I threw it in the garbage because I knew that the only reason why I'm going through this now is because of my addiction. So I've been working on it. I mean, I have made, my glass was half empty for the last 3 decades. But now, after all the improvements that I've made so far, I feel like my glass is half full. I can't believe that I got 3.64 grade point average in college. I can't believe that just a couple of weeks ago, the warden handpicked me to work in her office. I started from, janitorial job in the bathroom in the dorm. Then I got promoted to work in the visitor room outside clearance. Then the warden just came and handpicked me a couple of weeks, about a week or 2 ago to work with her. So I made an impression on my family. Me and my daughter got plans to actually go to college together, which I thought would never happen in a million years. I can look in the mirror now. I can never look in the mirror and see myself. I just learned myself after all these years. I don't have a sponsor in here right now, but I know that I have to get one. But
I do facilitate my own AA program, and it helps me out so much when people come to listen and to share their experience, strength, and hope, because it gives me that. I know that I wasn't the only one that was living in that cloud, you know. I continue. I want to continue now that I've took CCAR and I've had the chance to be on the receiving end, because we did a lot of role playing. It feels so good to give back, you know, to know that I can show somebody, teach somebody everything that I've been through. I know already. My sobriety comes first. I have a daughter at home right now that's even willing to give me rides to programs and sit in them if I need her to. And that feels so good. You know, my sons are back in my life. My mom never left my side. Just talking to a different Chris Carolina. I didn't even know myself to begin with all these years. And I just feel like I can't believe that I made such an accomplishment. I'm so proud. I know I'm ready to go. And I also know I'm going to run into some roadblocks, because life is not perfect. But I'm ready. I know I can handle it. I can't wait to go out there and start speaking. I just talked to somebody yesterday who's actually going to have a recovery coach get in contact with me. I've been working with the TCM program, because they're going to help me out, you know, with, you know, housing or whatever I need, you know, along the way to help my sobriety. I just never been more ready in my life. And to not be in denial anymore, it's like a major step for me. It's major. And I'm so proud of myself. I want to cry now, because I didn't think I could do it, because my brain was in a cloud all them years. You couldn't tell me that I was an addict. You know, and I didn't have any siblings. So the people that I made contact with, because people, places, and things is everything. People that I had contact with were all in the same mind as myself. So it didn't feel like anything was wrong. That's why I got a lot of love that. But you know what? The same way it happened like that is going to be even more accomplishing. It's going to be so much more better to be able to share with someone who's going through the same thing that I went through, because I'm 55 years old now, and I got a brand new granddaughter who's only a few months old. I even got a great granddaughter, which I never thought I'd see possible, and I'm just so ready. I'm about my sobriety. I'm about my sobriety. I do have a little job lined up, and I do plan on attending some classes, because I'm working on trying to become a drug and alcohol counselor and or recovery coach, you know, whichever one, you know, suits me. I can't wait to start going to a class with my daughter. I can't wait to pick my grandson up for the first time, my last one that was born, and my great-granddaughter, and my little one that just was born a few months ago. I just never felt so good.
All right.
I never felt so good about myself in a long time.
Thank you, Mr. Carolina.
Yes.
We appreciate that statement. You covered a lot for us, and of course, we've reviewed your file with all of your accomplishments. So you should be proud, because you've done a lot during this incarceration.
Man, for the first time.
Let's get the negative out of the way quick.
Okay.
2 years ago, what was that contraband A ticket about?
The contraband A ticket, I went to court in February. I didn't like the way the turnout came. My first impulse was to go back. Whenever something happened that was negative, my first impulse is to go get high. So yes, I was in McDougal Correctional. I got moved to a different block, and I heard that there was everywhere, drugs everywhere. Anything I wanted, it was there. And my first thought was, I'm gonna get, I can't take it. I'm gonna get high. I made it. And then overnight, I had the whole thing for a whole night. I thought about it. And I said, you know what? This is the reason why I'm here in the first place. Yeah. This is the reason why I'm here in the first place. I had a cellie. It was an older guy. I didn't want to disrespect him, and I definitely didn't want to get started back with the reason why I'm here now. I had to make a change somewhere. Nothing changes if nothing changes. I had to make a change. So I decided I didn't want him to know I had it, so I put it inside the garbage flat. So on the next time that maybe we go out for a wreck or something, I could just dump it and no one had to see it. But when I went to medical to go get my blood pressure checked, the CO went into our cell. He searched it. He took the garbage out. He found it. When I came back, they unlocked my cell. They said to both me and my cellie, we found this in the garbage. Whose is it? I owned it immediately.
Okay.
I wasn't gonna sit there and make them do an investigation.
Yeah.
I owned it. So they ended up handcuffing me. They brought me to segregation. And you know what? For the first time, being in SEG, I didn't even mind because I didn't follow through with the plan that I had. And to me, I thought that was so much growth on my part because my first reaction to do something when things go wrong is to get out. So for me to turn that away and then continue down my path the way I did it, I didn't even want to go to college. But I did it. Look at the outcome. Honestly, I amazed myself.
Okay, thank you for that explanation. I certainly appreciate that. So you mentioned college and we saw your transcripts. What school are you associated with?
As Nantucket.
That's Nantucket, yeah, okay. And how many credits do you have thus far?
Right now, I am 3 credits away from getting my business administrative certificate. And I think about 20-something credits away from my associates.
Okay.
So me and my daughter are planning on maybe trying to, they said that when I get out, I'll be allowed to transfer. So we're checking out the Naugatuck Valley right now to see, because she lives in Waterbury. It'd be closer to us, you know, so that's the goal. And I plan on getting my associates. I may be higher, but right now, let's get the business one first, the associate second. And in the meanwhile, I think I'm going to attend some CCAR because that recovery coach seems like something that I could do, because after taking that class and being in the opposite chair, talking to the person that needed the help, I felt like I think I did all right. Yeah, I'm feeling good. Yeah, I'm feeling really good.
So do you plan to get a CCAR coach for yourself and then become a coach for others?
Yes, absolutely. I plan on attending CCAR, doing whatever is necessary to take. I would have did more here, but because I had so many classes in college, I split it up. So I wanted to get it all in. But yeah, I mean, now that I'm hearing that they're spreading all over the place, I used to hear about CCAR, but I never really was into it. But when I learned what it's about, wow, to go back and to pay it forward, to let someone know the life I lived, so hopefully they don't follow the same footsteps.
Right.
I'm looking forward to it. I'm really going to look into it because I'm going to do something like that.
Okay. So you've been on probation multiple times, but this incident offense happened while you were on probation. What was your relationship like with your probation officer?
I always had a good relationship. I never, as far as I know, I never really gave him a hard time. It's just, that my freaking constant using. I mean, I was in that cloud. I was just in that cloud. But I never had any problems with any of my probation officers that I remember. Honestly, I never had any problems.
Okay. So you just stopped reporting because you were using. Were you involved in treatment too?
I stopped reporting. Well, yeah, I was using, and I think it was really bad at that time during the COVID. So like I just after I was using and then seeing what was going on with the COVID, and I just had a cousin who died of the COVID, that didn't help my paranoia. You know what I mean? And so it wasn't like I did it on purpose. It was just I got stuck in that realm. It was just.
Yeah. So are you in the Enough unit now? I thought I read that somewhere.
Yes, I am. And
you are
great. That's where I facilitate my AA meetings every Sunday. I do my own facilitation, but I also attended, all the inmate-based programs on top of going to AA or NA on the outside when I didn't have class.
Yeah.
And my main focus really, because, you don't get no certificates in AA and NA, but that's my main focus.
Right.
But the other ones I learned a lot, you know what I mean? And it was just, I never had an opportunity like this, even being incarcerated. So when I got to that Enough program, I'm like, wow, when they came and interviewed me at Colorado, said, let me come here. I just felt like everything was just looking up. And I know that I have to stay, in my mindset. Yeah. That I want to do good from here on out. And I know that there's going to be blocks, and I know that I can overcome them. I got support. My daughter is like just dying for me to get there. My grandkids love me.
Officer Martinez, did we reach his daughter?
Yes.
Okay. Now you mentioned work. What's your work schedule look like now in the facility?
Right now, I work for the warden, as a janitor in her office. I go Monday through Friday.
Monday through Friday.
Monday through Friday. Mm-hmm. She came into the block and she just handpicked me one day. And I can see they seem, you know, I mean, I do the best I can. I'm not doing it for recognition. I'm doing it because I know that that's my job. I have to do it. But she's seen the work. She's been hearing good things, and she came and she handpicked me, and that was like another tearful moment. Because, you know, hey, I'm proud. Like, I've been looking in the mirror. But, you know, my glass is only half full because I still got room to grow.
Yeah.
Never too old to learn something.
What is the job you have lined up in the community?
In the community, I did have a cousin who he drives box trucks. He's been there for a while now. Him and the manager are pretty cool. He says, you know, if I get out, as long as he knows I'm doing right, he can talk to her. And, you know, so he did talk to her. She did say, well, just let me know when he gets out. But right now, that's about the only plan of a job that I think but I'm not sure if I got to get my class B CDL. I'm not sure if I have to do that. So I got to find out. I'm not sure if you can drive a box truck without a CDL. I think you can, but I'm not sure yet.
And in the meantime, if that doesn't work out, what will you do?
In the meantime, you know, I'm going to be going to NA and AA meetings. In the meantime, you know, search for something that doesn't work out. Okay. I'm not going to give up, but I'm going to stay focused on my recovery while I try to find me a little something to make a little income.
Yeah.
But right now, I'm hoping, because I just talked to my cousin maybe a couple of weeks ago. He said everything seems like a go, but, you know, we're just taking it step by step.
Very good. All right. Thank you for speaking with me. I'm going to hand it over to my colleagues. Mr. Rodriguez.
I don't have a whole lot of questions, Mr. Carolina. Just, you sound very excited.
For the first time ever. I never felt so good.
Yeah.
I never felt so clean. I never felt so good in my entire life. Really.
Yeah, you've had 4 other incarcerations.
I know. And you know what? You couldn't tell me before that I had a problem.
Yeah.
But now
did you take programs? Did you take any programs during those incarcerations?
I did, but you know, I think I only took them before because I wanted to make parole or to make myself look like something. This time, I didn't take them for this. I took them because I needed them. And that was the part that I started to realize.
I hope so. I hope so. You're 55 years old already.
What?
I mean,
That's
at what point do you decide it's time?
Exactly. My thoughts exactly. And then this is time. I didn't take these programs to make parole. I promise you that. I took these programs because I needed them programs and the things that I'm actually learning because I'm listening, I'm taking it in because my mind is clear. Yeah. I've never felt so good.
So what happens? So what happens if you get denied today?
If I get denied today, I got to keep on. I mean, you know, I'll be upset. Of course, I'm human, but I can't stop. I got my family depending on me. You know, I got to depend on me. I can't be nothing for them if I can't do nothing for myself. And I'm not going to be able to help nobody if I can't do nothing for myself.
I say that because
that's my mindset.
I say that because those kind of disappointments you're going to have when you do get on the outside.
Absolutely. I already know. And that's why I said I know there's going to be some roadblocks along the way. And the prepping of my mind and the prepping of, you know, the things that I'm accomplishing. I can look in the mirror and smile. And, you know, I hope I make it, of course. But, you know, I mean,
I'm a little concerned that you don't have a sponsorship set up yet.
Well, that's what the TCM is setting me up for. They come and see me every Friday. They're coming to see me again Friday. They know about me, you know, going to parole. And this guy that comes to see me, he is the best. He's putting his best foot forward. We talk, and he's putting his best foot forward to help me get transition back into society. Okay? But I heard about that. The first thing I did was get in contact with them. I reached out to my addiction services counselor here. She set me up with the appointments. I probably done seen him about a good, maybe going on a month and a half now. So they're helping me get ready to transition. Everything goes well. I got backup. I
just want you to remember that what you said early on in our discussion with the chair, that, you know, when you get into kind of stressful situations, first thing you kind of think about is going back.
Absolutely.
Those old ways. And, you know, I want to make sure there's somebody there so that they can divert that thinking into something more positive, you know?
Absolutely. Where I'm really proud of myself in that situation is That's what I felt like in February of 2023, until I decided I didn't want to do it. And I think that might have been the stepping stone of me progressing the way that I have, because I told myself, this is the reason why I'm going through this now. So, and I did that all on my own. I did that just sitting up on my top bunk and thinking about the choices I was getting ready to make. And on my own, I fought against it. I said, man, what am I doing? This has never got me anywhere but jail and hurting like the people that love me. And for me to do that on my own, it was great. And people, you know, approached me when I was there, and I refused them. You know why? Because this has been my downfall forever. If I keep doing it, it's going to continue to be my downfall. And I can't keep having downfalls because, like you said, 55 years old. You know, and I got a family right now that still depends on me and loves me. And there is no way in the world, knowing how things are going in this society now, I can go out there and mess up now. They need me. I got to be there for them. And I'm also, you know, I had COVID 3 times in here, and I survived that. So, you know, to me, my higher power was God, and I think he was just telling me, listen, you're ready. I'm going to help you stay prepared, and I pray, and it's working for me.
I hope it works out for you, Caroline. I don't have any questions, Madam Chair.
Okay.
Thank you so much for talking to me.
Thank you.
Absolutely, thank you.
Yes, Mr. Carolina, I just have a couple of quick questions. I did enjoy reading the letter that you submitted, the 11-page document that I hope you keep with you and share with your family, because I think it's definitely, it's a journey of growth and it's a journey of acknowledgement. And especially I found interesting how you found the maturity to understand your lost year of credit, that there was nothing you could do about it. And instead of really thinking about it and letting that overtake you, you let it go. You put it down and you moved on.
Yes, absolutely.
But, I mean, looking at your criminal history, which has been touched upon, it literally works out to 2/3 of your life have been this. And other than one 5-year period after you were discharged for time served in 2009, up until your next charge of 2014, it's an every year type of thing. And you were at one point making drugs, not just selling drugs. So it's really a story, hopefully, of redemption that we don't see you back here. What I was curious about was over this entire period where you kind of dug your hole into this drug life and addiction, you never were shown with any guns or weapons. Was that a choice? Did you just not get caught? Or why in your record is there an absence of guns? Because that's typically something that goes hand in hand.
Don't like guns, never owned a gun, never wanted to own a gun. I thank God today that when I was out there, involved in my little drug activity here and there, that I didn't get killed or shot or robbed, or because I can never do it to somebody, not me. So weapons was never even in my mind at all. And I guess I can just thank God because I survived it. I've seen it here, I'm hearing about it here, but it just was not a part of my lifestyle. No way. I couldn't do it. Couldn't do it. Always was scared of guns, still am scared of guns.
Okay. So it does appear that I think that you're on a good path. I do hope that the enthusiasm and commitment that you're showing to us today, that you do temper it with short-term goals and long-term goals, because I don't want you to come out and be overwhelmed with having to get all of this done. Having a realistic and thoughtful plan is going to go towards your success. And I hope that as you move forward and are comfortable, that you do think about the fact that you have all of these charges in your past. And as you really try to make that separation and move forward, you think about ways that you could give back to the community in terms of kind of paying it forward and repayment based on that. And I'll just end it with saying that, your own quote was, that you made a lifestyle choice to join the recovery community, just like using had been a choice in your past. And I do hope that you are successful moving forward.
Thank you so much. I appreciate that. Really do.
Thank you. Thank you. Okay, so I see the change and the insight in Mr. Carolina. I think he has some great goals and a positive release plan for himself. He's done all that he can to prepare himself for a successful release while he's incarcerated. And I would be willing to give him the opportunity at discretionary parole. See what else he can do in the community. To reunite
I
with
would
his
also be
family.
willing to do that, Madam
Okay.
Chair. I think he has very excited today. It seems like maybe he really
Yeah.
did find
Yeah.
something within himself that he can move forward on.
Okay. I have a couple co-defendants and alcohol. Anything for this one? Oh, I have two. Why don't I have Jennifer Turley, Sage, Ruben, Lundgren. And
Oh,
who's up?
No.
Yeah, KT,
Co-defendants.
KJ, and J. Yeah,
Hold on. What am I looking at?
that's three. I have three. Jennifer Turley, Kevin Jones, and Joswanli Singh. Joswanli.
Are you looking at underlying offenses? Okay, great.
I think I know one of them names, but on the other two sound a little bit.
Hang on a second. I was thrown out of case notes. Are they in the disc?
Yeah, they're in the disc.
I have James, Josh, Under, Steve, and Kevin.
Yeah, okay. I mean, we don't always go back to all the underlying because it's so long ago, but we can. All right, in the matter of Christopher Carolina, inmate number 166398, moves to grant parole effective June 19th, 2025. That's your eligibility date. With the following additional conditions: no consumption of alcoholic beverages, no contact with co-defendants Jennifer Turley.
Kevin.
Hang on. Kevin Jones, Jaswinder Singh, and who's the last one?
I have James Davis and Sage Robin.
Sage Robin Lundgren and James Davis. Okay, is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. You'll get all this in writing. Do you have any questions?
No, I just appreciate you giving me the opportunity to hear me out. I appreciate
All
it.
right.
Well,
We wish you the best, sir. Keep
do the
working.
best you can.
I definitely am, and I appreciate you guys, and God bless.
Thank you.
6398.
Take care. Oh, is it okay?
Thank you.
All right, take care.
You too.
Last one. Who's it?
You all set?
Yes, we're all set. Thank you.
Thank you.
Welcome. Have a good day.
You too. Morning, my name is Pearl Officer Martinez. Today is Wednesday, February 5th, 2025. This is a case for hearing to set special appropriation for Bartelle, ticket number 354099. Four members, please state the name for the record.
Jennifer Zaccanini.
Ellen Zappo Sasser.
Member Rodriguez.
Mr. Bartelle is currently served in 3 years with 5 years of special parole for robbery second to approach violation of probation or underlying of sale of certain legal drugs and possession of narcotics. At this time, the panel will not deliberate and set special points.
Thank you. All right, what'd you have, Mr.
I
Rodriguez?
had no driving without parole officer's permission. I had halfway house, and I had anger management, behavior management, anger management.
Ms. Zappo-Sassi, what'd you have?
I had that there were victims, and I don't know if that.
Yes.
That's not. First step. I did not have anger management.
I did not either. Why did you have anger management?
There's something in his history that recent.
He's got no disciplinary reports. He robbed a corner store. What else do you have, Ms.
I
Zappo?
thought I have marked it maybe now.
All right, tell me one more time. You have a victim, RP, and Bruce, the corner market. You have a co-defendant, Jalil Hill, Hill,
Yeah.
halfway house.
Yes.
Is that it?
Yes.
He has a sponsor, fiance in Stratford, but
I think it said, yeah, there was some question.
it's questionable. So if it's needed. All right.
I'm good. He's doing it.
In the matter of Duane Bartelle, inmate number 354099, move to set the following special parole conditions. No contact with victim initials RP or Bruce Avenue Corner Market. No contact with co-defendant Jalil Heel, and halfway house placement if it's necessary. Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
This concludes the case review for Duane Bartelle and the 54099. Good afternoon, my name is Parole Officer Martinez. Today is Wednesday, February 5th, 2025. This is the case review being held for Alaze, inmate number 411726. Board members, please state your names for the record.
Jennifer Zaccanini.
Ellen Zappo Sasser.
Member Rodriguez.
Parole Community Services submitted a request for no contact with Leah James, mental health evaluation and DD program conditions to be added. At this time, the panel will not deliberate and provide their decision for the record.
Okay, so this is a domestic violence victim. Are we okay with adding a general no contact and domestic violence program?
Yes.
Okay. All right. In the matter of Alziphat 411726, I'll move to add the following conditions: general no contact with initials AJ without the parole officer's permission, and a behavior management program for domestic violence. All other conditions will remain in effect. Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
This concludes the case review for Alaze, inmate number 411726. Back on the record on Alziphat, inmate number 411726.
Thank you. There was an additional request to add a mental health evaluation to this inmate's conditions. However, I don't know if it was done in error. There was no justification or reason for why. So this time we'll take no action on the request for the mental health evaluation. Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor? Aye.
Inmate number. Good afternoon, my name is Parole Officer Martinez. Today is Wednesday, February 5th, 2005. This is the case review being held for Nicholas Laliberty, only having 43985. Board members, please state your names for the record.
Jennifer Zaccanini?
Ellen Sapo Sasu.
Member Rodriguez.
Parole Community Services submitted a request for no contact with Emily Russell and Nathan Bushwack, condition pediatric. This time the panel will not deliver a decision for the record.
Thank you. So these are the residents of the home that he accidentally shot into, so they would be victims, but general no contact because they're technically not victims. Any objections? In the matter of Nicholas Laliberty, I'll move to add the condition of general no contact with ER and NH. Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor? Aye.
This is a case review for Nicholas Laliberty and we number 43998. Good afternoon, my name is Parole Officer Martinez. Today is Wednesday, February 5th, 2025. This is the case review being held for Marvin Mack, inmate number 297491. Board members, please state your names for the record.
Jennifer Zaccanini?
Ellen Sapo Sasu.
Member Rodriguez.
Parole Community Services submitted a request for no contact with co-defendant Jasmine Reyes to be removed. At this time, the panel will not deliberate and provide your decision for the record.
Okay, so they're in a relationship and co-parenting. So any objection to removing it? Okay, in the matter of Marvin Mack, I'll move to remove the co-defendant Jasmine Reyes. All other co-defendants will remain in effect as well as the other stipulations. Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor? Aye.
This is for Marvin Mack, inmate number 297. For Wednesday, February 5th, 2025 at 12 o'clock.